body. As the dragon's sword in his hand slashed out fiercely, a lightning sword light, several meters long and utterly tyrannical, cut across the sky. This terrifying lightning sword light was so fierce that it sliced the air, causing ripples, with a loud crack. It swept violently toward the black weird transformation creature. Gae? The black weird transformation creature sensed immense mortal danger. While roaring, a burst of black chi erupted from its body, and it held its claws and blade across its body to defend. Bang, poof. However, the terrifying lightning blade light was unstoppable. The moment it touched the black weird transformation creature, it electrocuted it until it was burnt crisp inside and out, then sliced horizontally through its body, instantly cutting it in half. Black blood spilled everywhere. Instant kill? After killing this black weird transformation creature, the black lightning flashing around Gu Qijue did not recede. Instead, it grew even more violent, gradually forming 9 destructive and astonishing lightning stars around his body. They floated and guarded him, making him seem like a thunder emperor capable of destroying the world. Even Gu Qijue didn't know why he could control lightning. In his previous life, he had seen footage of the black dragon's outbreak in the news. It seemed it didn't control this kind of lightning, but rather a terrifying black flame. Could it be because he swallowed and fused with it? Gae. The remaining 3 weird transformation creatures looked at Gu Qijue nearby, revealing fear in their eyes, and subconsciously retreated a few steps. Gu Qijue ignored them for the time being, controlling the twin dragons on his back to go up and devour the black weird transformation creature he had just killed. Bite by bite, after 2/3 of it was devoured, Gu Qijue said to the white fox, who was looking at him with adoration from behind, "You eat the rest." "Thank you, big brother black dragon." Hearing this, the white fox was momentarily stunned. Then overjoyed, it manifested its main body clone and went up to devour the remaining flesh and blood of the black weird transformation creature. She could directly manifest her main body clone. She didn't need to personally transform into her main body to eat. Ow! The mutated creatures gathering from all directions looked at Gu Qijue with fear and reverence, but none retreated out of fright. The attraction of the mutated fruit to them was like a drug addict who hadn't taken heroin in a very, very long time. Once the fruit ripened, they wouldn't care who he was or whether there was bloodline suppression. The appeal of the mutated fruit had already overridden their rationality. It's him, it's him. In the central conference hall of the Cloud City shelter, Lin Zhengxiao, War General looked at Gu Qijue on the projection screen, white hair, blood-red eyes, twin dragons on his back, and 9 lightning stars surrounding him, and revealed boundless killing intent. He immediately contacted the bombardment department, saying, "Li Liu, send me 30,000 rockets. Cover the city center directly, bombarding the mutated fruit tree along with it. I want that beast dead." "Yes," the head of the bombardment department responded. "Launching will commence within 3 minutes." War General. News has come from the Diyuan group in Capital City, asking if we need support. Just then, the head of the information department quickly entered and reported. What kind of support can they send over? Lin Zhengxiao hesitated. Ancient martial artists. The head of the information department slowly uttered the 3 words. What? Ancient martial artists really exist? Hearing this, Lin Zhengxiao looked surprised. Previously, he had heard rumors about ancient martial artists, but he didn't believe they were real as he had never seen one. The head of the information department nodded. Yes, if support is needed. The Diyuan group will dispatch 3 innate-level ancient martial artists to establish the Super Martial Artist Alliance of Cloud City. Furthermore, our Cloud City shelter is also under the jurisdiction of the Diyuan group. Lin Zhengxiao said in surprise. Yes. We need support, reply immediately. Yes. The head of the information department responded and departed. My heavens, ancient martial artists really exist? Tell me which is stronger. A super martial artist or an ancient martial artist? Who knows? We'll only find out after they fight. Everyone present was extremely surprised by the existence of ancient martial artists. Rumble just then. In the rocket launcher site deep within the military base, wave after wave of rockets soared into the sky. Each wave contained 300 rockets, creating an extremely spectacular sight. The target was entirely the Cloud City Center. On the rooftop of a tall building 5 or 6 kilometers away from the city center, over 100 super martial artists wearing super martial armor were gathered. The leader was a woman with an exquisite figure wearing azure Luan armor. This woman was Mu Qingsu. Standing beside her were Cute Treasure, Chu Baixuan in Taoti armor, Zhu Hongyu in vermilion bird armor, and Chu Mengxi in ice and snow armor. Gu Qijue kept staring at his daughter because he highly suspected that his daughter was a mole sent by that demon dragon. Therefore, he kept an eye on her, watching whether she would take out her phone to report the news that the military department was about to bombard the city center. Chu Mengxi saw her father constantly watching her and smiled bitterly in her heart. It seems even my own father doesn't trust me anymore. But I'm doing this for the family's sake. The terror of that man is beyond your imagination. She wanted to report the news, but there was simply no opportunity. Just then, General Lin's call request came through on Mu Qingsu's phone. Mu Qingsu answered, "General Lin. How are things progressing? The rockets will reach their destination in 3 minutes. You shouldn't be within the bombing range, right? We are 5 or 6 kilometers away, there is no danger." "Very good. But I've changed my mind. That demon dragon is currently beneath the mutated tree, and we will bomb the mutated tree along with it." "What?" Hearing this, Mu Qingsu was slightly displeased and said, "This mutated tree is closest to us, and we only rushed here to harvest from it. You want to bomb it?" Buzzing sounds as her words fell. Bursts of buzzing sounds came from the horizon. Looking up, it made one's scalp tingle. Wave after wave of highly destructive rockets covered the entire sky, sweeping over the sky above their heads. Such a scene was truly spectacular. "Boss Mu, today's mutated tree is gone, but there will still be trees tomorrow and the day after. That demon dragon is not someone you can kill anytime." General Lin's earnest voice came through. "All right, what you said makes sense." Mu Qingsu shook her head with some regret. Fortunately, super martial artists could also cultivate by absorbing sunlight. "Demon dragon, you want to kill Big Brother Black Dragon?" Cute Treasure listened to their conversation, frowning slightly as she spoke. "What? Is there a problem?" Gu Qijue looked at Cute Treasure. "I won't be his enemy. If you want to kill him, don't involve me," Cute Treasure stated straightforwardly. There will be 2 more chapters later. Updated all at once. 19. The magnetic field of the mutated tree, a battle for the mutated fruit. Gu Qijue, who was under the mutated tree, also heard a roar at this moment. He looked up, and his eyes immediately narrowed slightly. He saw terrifying rocket launchers covering the area in wave after wave. "What is this?" The white fox, unfamiliar with human technology, gazed at the sky full of flying objects. A little hesitant, "Damn it, is the Empire Army going to bomb this place?" Zhaohu, Jiashang, and others 2 kilometers away felt their scalps tingle at the sight. They immediately turned to run, as they weren't sure if their super martial armor could withstand such a rocket bombardment. Countless mutated creatures present heard the sound and looked up, confused. There was only curiosity in their eyes, not knowing what those objects were. "Big Brother Black Dragon, these flying objects give me a very dangerous feeling. As a top-tier evil seed." The white fox felt a pang of fear, just as Gu Qijue was about to tell her to leave. When the rockets approached within 3 kilometers of the mutated tree, an astonishing scene unfolded. Any rockets that came within about 3 kilometers of the mutated tree suddenly stalled and fell from the sky, not to mention exploding. Not even a spark managed to flash. "What's going on?" In the military department meeting hall, Lin Zhengxia, war general, stared at all the falling rockets. Completely stunned, the other advanced military officers were also dumbfounded, not knowing why. This might be due to the magnetic field of that mutated tree, causing the rockets to malfunction. After a moment, the Minister of the Military Affairs Department made this reluctant guess. Everyone nodded in agreement. Only that explanation made sense. "What do we do now?" All the military officers looked at Lin Zhengxiao. "War General, this beast is really lucky." Lin Zhengxiao, War General's face was grim as he said, "It seems that to kill it, we still need ancient martial artists to take action." "Oh," roar just then. Earth-shattering roars erupted. Thousands of mutated fruit on the mutated tree had completely ripened at this moment, emitting a very strange, fragrant scent. Under the wafting scent of the fruit, the countless mutated creatures gathered there went wild, sweeping like a flood towards the mutated tree, whose branches alone covered an area of 500 meters. Jai, the 3 weird transformation creatures present, their eyes gleaming with excitement, quickly climbed the tree. The flying mutated creatures circling in the sky also swarmed over. This world descended into chaos. Violent roars echoed across the wilderness. The white fox transformed into her true form and also climbed the mutated fruit tree at the fastest speed. Gu Qijue also transformed into his strongest dragonman state, surrounded by thunder and stars, holding the thunder dragon sword. With a whoosh, he turned into a black light, bypassing the 3 weird transformation creatures and climbing the tree. In just a few breaths, the massive mutated fruit tree was covered with all sorts of mutated creatures. During this process, they would also fight each other. One could see large numbers of mutated creatures falling from above. It was too chaotic. The sky-dwelling flying creatures had the advantage, some bit off 2 or 3 and flew away, while others greedily swallowed one after another, then exploded and died. Gu Qijue grew anxious, letting out a loud roar. And the twin dragons behind him also roared in response. Many mutated creatures were intimidated and fell down. He activated the space within his sea of consciousness in his glabella. Immediately, more than 10 nearby mutated fruit all disappeared into his glabella. At the same time, the twin dragons behind him each swallowed one, in just a few tens of seconds. A third of the thousands of mutated fruit on the tree were gone. Gu Qijue's dragon might surged around him, and the thunder and stars emitted black lightning bolts, savagely slaughtering the mutated creatures around him. He arrived near more than 10 mutated fruit, and with a thought collected them into his glabella space. "Oh my god!" From a distance, Zhao Hu and the others, watching the towering giant tree covered in mutated creatures, felt their scalps tingle. If they were to participate in such a scene, they wouldn't last a few seconds before being torn apart by the endless monsters. Whoosh! Whoosh! Cute Treasure appeared, swallowed 2 mutated fruit on the mutated tree, picked 2 more, and then left without being greedy, because he felt that a golden weird transformation creature had targeted him. What a terrifying scene, we can't possibly pick them. On Mu Qingsu's side, they had also approached within 2 or 3 miles. Zhu Hongyu was horrified, her scalp tingling at the sight, especially seeing Gu Qijue's strength. It was no wonder Cute Treasure didn't dare to oppose him, he was incredibly monstrous. Chu Baixuan watched with a start, giving his daughter a deep look. Chu Mengxi didn't speak. Gu Qijue's power had also shocked her. She was extremely glad for the decision she had made back then, otherwise her family might have already died. Scram! On the huge mutated tree, Gu Qijue roared, repelling a golden weird transformation creature, and harvested 7 mutated fruit from there. "You're courting death?" The golden weird transformation creature, enraged and humiliated, let out a sharp roar. Its body glowing with eerie golden light, it violently brandished its blades and claws, pouncing forward. Its speed was as swift as a startled swan. Even Cute Treasure might be instantly killed if he encountered it. Gu Qijue's eyes turned cold, and 2 thunder stars transformed into 2 thunder spears. Lashing out, boom, bang, terrifying thunder power erupted, electrocuting the golden weird transformation creature, making its entire body tremble. Then, its shoulders were pierced, and a look of fear appeared in its eyes as it turned and fled. Utterly terrified, Gu Qijue didn't pursue, as the effect of the mutated fruit was greater than devouring it. He moved freely on the mutated tree. Now, only 1/10 of the mutated fruit remained. After Gu Qijue collected 5 more. In less than 2 short minutes, thousands of mutated fruit had been cleared. Buzz! When all the mutated fruit were picked, the entire mutated giant tree rapidly retracted into the ground. The strong vibrations caused large numbers of mutated creatures on the tree to fall. White Fox. "Let's go," Gu Qijue called to the white fox, descending the tree at the fastest speed. Under the deterrence of his powerful aura, no mutated creature dared to block his path. The white fox quickly followed. She had swallowed a total of 3 mutated fruit. The immense energy was suppressed within her body, and she needed a safe environment to digest it. Is he a human or that black dragon? Mu Qingsu looked at Gu Qijue and the white fox leaving, her eyes filled with hesitation. Then she looked at Chu Mengxi and asked, "Mengxi, I heard you've interacted with him. Do you know his identity?" Chu Mengxi thought for a moment and said, "He said he is human, and he's also interested in your shelter, Aunt Mu, if you can offer it to him willingly. You won't have to be his enemy." She had considered her words carefully. First, reveal Gu Qijue's identity, then mention his interest in her shelter. Perhaps this matter could be resolved peacefully. 20, Day 2 of the Apocalypse, Qingyan High School has settled down. Hearing Chu Mengxi's words, Mu Qingsu fell silent. Zhu Hongyu, however, said at this moment, "Sister Mengxi, do you know that he killed many of our super martial artists last night? That was only because those super martial artists treated him as a monster and attacked him first." Chu Mengxi said indifferently, "What's there to say about being counter-killed after attacking someone?" These words left Zhu Hongyu speechless. "I will protect humanity, but I will not be an enemy of Big Brother Black Dragon." At this moment, Cute Treasure stated his position, eating a mutated fruit which made everyone envious. "What if he is an enemy of humanity?" Mu Qingsu asked Cute Treasure. "He's also human. How could he be an enemy of humanity?" Cute Treasure sneered slightly and said, I will only protect humanity, but I will absolutely not become a puppet for those in power among humans. His words were blunt. He continued. If Big Brother Black Dragon were to kill ordinary people, I would stop him, even if I couldn't defeat him. These words made Mu Qingsu open her mouth, but she didn't know how to respond. He killed General Lin's grandson. General Lin won't let him off, Zhu Hongyu said. That's his business. What does it have to do with you? Cute Treasure swallowed the last bite of fruit in his hand and scoffed. It's impossible for me to participate in your human schemes. If you humans disappoint me, I will not hesitate to join Big Brother Black Dragon. Mu Qingsu was silent for a moment, then said, It seems necessary to talk to him. She then looked at Chu Mengxi and asked, You should have his contact information, right? Yes. I can give it to you, Chu Mengxi nodded. Mu Qingsu said, Good. Let's go back to the shelter first. All of you should quickly absorb sunlight and cultivate. After Gu Qijue and the others left and returned to the underground boxing arena, they sorted out all the supplies and then headed to Qingyan High School together. The atmosphere here was chaotic and not suitable for long-term living. Gu Qijue planned to use Qingyan High School as a temporary stronghold. Why temporary? Because his ultimate goal was Mu Qingsu's shelter. Inside Qingyan High School, there were 34 survivors and more than 20 super martial artists. However, 8 had been lost on this trip, so now, including Jai Sheng, only 12 remained. Qingyan High School, which originally had thousands of students, was left with so few people. The convoy arrived at Qingyan High School, and Gu Qijue moved into the principal's usual residence. It was a detached 3-story building. The first floor was the hall and dining room. The second floor was for meetings, and the third floor was the living area. The school had its own well, so the water supply had not been cut off yet. The first thing Gu Qijue did when he arrived here was to take a comfortable shower. In the bathroom, Gu Qijue soaked in cold water. His slender figure had perfect muscle lines, and the black dragon tattoo on his chest was lifelike. He was counting the mutated fruit he had acquired this time. A total of 139 were harvested. All of them floated in the space of his sea of consciousness between his eyebrows. I never thought this sea of consciousness space could store things. Gu Qijue had only wanted to try it out then, and when he found that it could indeed store external objects, he was shocked. After a cold shower, Gu Qijue changed into a black casual outfit, which Zhao Hu and the others had plundered from a certain mall. Supplies were not just food, but also daily necessities. The principal of Qingyan High School was a female principal, and everything in this room was for women's use. Gu Qijue opened a drawer and even saw a vibrator. After drying his white hair, Gu Qijue picked up his phone and checked the time. It was 10:45 a.m. On WeChat, Chu Mengxi had sent several messages, as well as a friend request. Gu Qijue glanced at it and accepted Mu Qingsu's friend request. Then, instead of chatting with her, he pushed open the door and went to the second-floor conference room. Present were Zhao Hu, Jai Sheng, Wu Jiao, Deng Tian, Tang Huang, Li Si, Wu Hai, and Lu Hao. A total of 8 people. Wu Hai and Lu Hao were Jai Sheng's sworn brothers, possessing Emperor rank super martial arts. Super martial artist rank divisions, ordinary, elite, epic, king rank, emperor rank, saint rank, corresponding mutated creatures, ordinary, calamity seed, true seed, variant seed, evil seed, disaster, in the early stage. Mutated creatures evolve faster, boss, seeing this. Everyone stood up and shouted. Gu Qijue had uniformly instructed them to address him this way. White Fox went to consume the 3 mutated fruit it had swallowed. The energy contained within was too immense. Super martial artists didn't need to digest them, they could absorb them directly. But mutated creatures could not. Gu Qijue had also swallowed 6 or 7, and as for why he didn't need time to digest them and could absorb them directly, he didn't know either, having swallowed 6 or 7 mutated fruit. Gu Qijue was currently at the middle stage of the 4th rank. He felt that he would need to swallow at least a dozen more to reach the late stage. In the late stage, as the rank gets higher, the required quantity will likely multiply several times, or even 10 times. Gu Qijue sat down in the chief seat and said, Sit down, have the supplies and the number of survivors been tallied? All tallied. Wu Jiao picked up the notebook on the table and said, We have 25 ordinary survivors from the underground boxing arena, and 34 ordinary survivors from the school, making a total of 59 people. Counting us present, there are 23 super martial artists. As for supplies like clothing, there are 786 items. Edible supplies can provide 3 meals a day for everyone here for about 3 months. With that, Wu Jiao placed the notebook in front of Gu Qijue. Gu Qijue glanced at the notebook on the table, took out a cigarette, lit it for himself, and said, Are all of you truly sincere in following me? Absolutely no disloyalty. Hearing this, everyone nodded emphatically. Before, some might have been unconvinced, but after witnessing his power firsthand this morning, everyone obeyed from the bottom of their hearts. Gu Qijue nodded slightly and said, "Since that's the case, the mutated fruit can now be given to you to consume." With a thought, 31 mutated fruit flew out from between his eyebrows and landed on the conference table. Seeing everyone's eager gazes, Gu Qijue said indifferently, "You 8 people get 2 each, and the remaining 15 super martial artists get 1 each. You can not only consume the mutated fruit to enhance your super martial star rank, but also absorb the light of the sun. Spend this entire day cultivating well." "Thank you, boss." Hearing that they would receive 2, everyone was overjoyed, stood up, and bowed to Gu Qijue in thanks. "Arrange for a few super martial artists to patrol in shifts. Don't let the mutated creatures outside sneak in." Gu Qijue rose from his seat and said, "I've been busy all night. I'm a bit tired. I'm going back to sleep first. From yesterday evening at 5 or 6 o'clock, hunting mutated creatures until morning." Even someone as strong as Gu Qijue felt a bit overwhelmed. Zhao Hu nodded heavily and said, "Boss, please rest assured. We will not let a single mutated creature sneak in." Everyone was extremely grateful to have such an incredibly powerful boss as Gu Qijue. Otherwise, these mutated fruit would have nothing to do with them. "Brothers, please give me some monthly votes and recommendation votes. Is anyone watching?" 21. Innate ancient martial arts practitioners. Monks and Taoist nuns on the second day of the apocalypse, the losses of countries around the world were twice that of the Qianlong Empire. Because Mu Qingsu had informed the Qianlong Empire in advance, although the empire was half skeptical, they had made ample preparations. In this weird transformation, some small countries even directly declared their demise, with only a small number of super martial artists barely surviving. A massive number of mutated creatures were ubiquitous, appearing in swarms and clusters. In the darkness, weird transformation creatures lurked. At the same time, highly intelligent evil seed-level and calamity-level creatures were subduing batches of mutated creatures in various cities, gradually forming powerful mutated creature factions. Qingyun High School had 3 generators. If all 3 were activated simultaneously, they could power the entire school. However, currently, providing power to just one building meant that activating 1 generator was sufficient. That was a teacher's dormitory building, where over 50 survivors resided. The first thing everyone did when the power came on was to charge their phones. Then they scrolled through Tiger Sound News to see how the world had changed. Gu Qijue returned to the principal's room, lay on the bed and plugged in his phone charger. Strangely, even though his body had been emitting lightning, his phone hadn't been affected. The principal's bed even carried a woman's fragrance. He unlocked the screen and saw 3 messages from Mu Qingsu. "Hello, how should I address you?" "Hello. Are you there? There are some things I'd like to discuss with you." "Hello, if you see this message, could you please reply?" Gu Qijue typed back, "Are you Mu Qingsu?" Ding dong. As soon as the message was sent, the latter replied almost instantly, "Yes, how should I address you? Mengxi said you are also human. Just call me Mr. Black Dragon. I'm very interested in your shelter." Gu Qijue went straight to the point. "In a while. I will take it down, please be prepared." "Mr. Black Dragon, since we are all human, you can certainly move here," Mu Qingsu replied. Gu Qijue said playfully, "If I move in, who will be in charge?" "Naturally. I will," Mu Qingsu said with certainty in her voice. Seeing this, Gu Qijue sneered and replied, "Then there's nothing to discuss. With your abilities, you can't defend that shelter." Mu Qingsu said bluntly, "I know it will be difficult to defend, because Cloud City still has 2 very powerful calamity-level creatures, which is why I want to bring you into work together." "You, trying to command me? Ridiculous. In this apocalypse, do you really think you're someone important?" Gu Qijue's words were impolite. "Mr. Black Dragon is so arrogant, it seems we can't reach an agreement, but do you know that among humans, there are also ancient martial artists? You killed General Lin's grandson, he won't let you off." To be honest, Mu Qingsu's contact with Gu Qijue this time was merely a test. Even if Gu Qijue had readily agreed to join their shelter, Mu Qingsu would have weighed it carefully, because this man was too powerful. If he were allowed in, no one would be able to stop him. "I have no intention of being enemies with humans, but if they dare to attack me, I will kill all the high-ranking officials in Cloud City Shelter." Gu Qijue's words were filled with hostility. This was no joke, he would truly do it. "In that case, Mr. Black Dragon, take care of yourself, I await your attack." In the central villa hall of the shelter, Mutingsu's mature and charming face looked somewhat gloomy. After replying to this message, she tried to pinpoint Gu Qijue's location but found that he had already deleted her. Xiao Lan. Go call Chu Mengxi. Yes. A woman guarding outside the main gate heard this and immediately hurried away. So it's Black Dragon, huh? Don't let me locate you or Lin Zhengxiao will find out. And you'll be in trouble. Mutingsu revealed a cold smile. A few minutes later, Xiao Lan returned alone. Where's Chu Mengxi? Mutingsu frowned when she saw this, asking. Xiao Lan said. She ran away. She's truly loyal to that beast-like man, even abandoning her parents and younger sister. Mutingsu's face darkened, and she got up to leave. Going to find cute treasure. She intended to recruit the iron-backed gorilla, one of the remaining 2 top calamity-level creatures in Cloud City. In her previous life, this gorilla had cooperated with humans. Throughout the shelter, the super martial artists recruited by Mutingsu were all absorbing the intense sunlight. The weather in August was scorching hot all day long. The bodies of mutated creatures in the city, exposed to the sun, shriveled up quickly. Around 3 in the afternoon, a combat helicopter landed at Cloud City Shelter. On the helipad, Lin Zhengxiao had already brought a group of high-ranking officials to greet them. When the helicopter settled on the ground, 2 people lightly stepped out, a man and a woman. The man was a monk dressed in a monastic robe, incredibly handsome. The woman was a Taoist nun dressed in Taoist robes, although her appearance was ordinary. Her temperament was outstanding. Welcome, young monk and Taoist nun Lingxi, to my Cloud City shelter. The banquet is ready, please, both of you. Seeing this, Lin Zhengxiao laughed heartily and led his people to greet them. Taoist nun Lingxi looked around, then her gaze fell upon Lin Zhengxiao and she asked, How many super martial artists have you recruited? Lin Zhengxiao led the way, saying, We've rescued about 800,000 survivors and recruited 750 super martial artists, who are currently cultivating in the shelter. Prepare to issue a news report and establish a super martial artist alliance. Those who don't join are anti-human and must be eliminated. Taoist nun Lingxi said decisively. Lin Zhengxiao smiled obsequiously. Yes, we've already prepared the news content, just waiting to release it. These 2 were both innate martial artists. He had heard of the martial artist ranks. They were acquired, innate, grandmaster, and great grandmaster. Innate martial artists could project true qi outwards and even briefly fly, making them incredibly powerful. How could Lin Zhengxiao not show respect in front of such beings? At the banquet, these 2 ancient martial artists surprisingly only ate plain vegetarian food, not touching a single piece of meat or a drop of wine. Lin Zhengxiao seized the opportunity and said, A demon dragon was born in our Cloud City. Last night, it killed many of our human super martial artists. Its strength is formidable, and if left unchecked, it could become a future problem. Oh, what kind of demon dragon? The handsome monk asked curiously. Young monk. Please see? Lin Zhengxiao took out his phone and played the video from the previous mutated tree struggle. Gu Qijue in the video was in his strongest state, covered in dragon scales, with dragon teeth in his mouth, dragon horns on his head, and a black dragon tail, truly appearing as a demon dragon. The handsome monk watched for half a minute, then nodded. Very strong, but still within our ability to deal with. Taoist nun Lingxi took the phone, looked at it for a few moments, and said, This demon dragon poses too great a threat and must be eliminated as soon as possible. Do you know where it is currently? Lin Zhengxiao shook his head and said, We can only wait for its next appearance. 22. Hidden Dragon Empire, Emperor Abyss Group, Qianlong Empire, Capital City Empire Shelter. Diyuan Group. The Diyuan Group was originally the Qianlong Empire's top-secret organization, managing all of the Qianlong Empire's super martial artists. In general wars, they would act in secret, and ordinary people did not know that the Qianlong Empire had such an organization. The Diyuan Group of the Qianlong Empire possessed formidable overall strength. Its president was an ancient martial artist of the great grandmaster level. Inside the command hall of the Diyuan Group building, a man dressed in a black suit, tall and straight, exceptionally handsome, with sharp eyes and the imposing aura of a superior, who looked about 27 or 28 years old, was gazing at the satellite projection screen not far in front of him. His aura was terrifying. It was the magnetic field of a great grandmaster. Within a few miles outside this Empire Army shelter, no mutated creatures dared to approach. When the mutated tree appeared this morning, this existence led 300 ancient martial artists and directly captured a mutated tree. His strength was unparalleled. If Gu Qijue encountered him at the current stage, he would simply be instantly killed. I really didn't expect Gu Qijue to truly be a rebirth person. The apocalypse arrived as scheduled. After a whole night of work, we in Kyoto only managed to rescue less than 1 million survivors. An old man, walking with powerful strides, entered from outside at this moment. How is the mobilization of super martial artists in capital city going? Have the samples of those fruits been researched, and are they safe to consume? Chu Yuan slowly turned around, sat down on the CEO's chair, looked at the entering old man, and asked in a calm voice, CEO Chu, we have currently mobilized 4836 super martial artists in capital city. The research samples of those mysterious fruits have also been released. They contain a high-grade divine substance, and we ancient martial artists can also consume them. Speaking of those mysterious fruits, the old man showed some excitement on his face and said, the spiritual chi on Star Blue Continent is almost dried up, and there are hardly any spirit stones left. These mysterious fruits are truly saving our lives. Hearing this, Chu Yuan's eyes flashed with brilliance. Have you had ancient martial artists try consuming them? What were the effects? The effects are comparable to spirit stones. This apocalypse isn't too bad for us. The old man chuckled. Although none of us are super martial artists, we are definitely not weaker than them. Good. It has been 6 years since I was promoted to Great Grandmaster. Due to the scarcity of spiritual chi and the lack of spirit stones, I haven't made any progress in 6 full years. Order someone to send 1,000 of those fruits to my residence. A trace of excitement flashed in Chu Yuan's eyes. When he was 16, he obtained a great opportunity in a certain mountain. He is 28 this year, and that opportunity allowed him to advance to Great Grandmaster within just 5 or 6 years. Yes. Your subordinate has already ordered someone to send 1,000 to your residence, CEO Chu. We just received news that a demon dragon has appeared in Cloud City. Its growth rate is astonishing, and Gu Qijue requests that it be killed immediately, or the consequences will be endless. This old man is named Lu Tuan, and he is a Grandmaster Peak. Chu Yuan lit a cigarette for himself and said calmly, at the current stage, there shouldn't be any mutated monsters that are a match for innate martial artists, right? Lu Tuan nodded and said, we haven't seen such a monster yet. From last night until now, the strongest creature we have encountered is only at the acquired peak level. It is a very evil creature. Then just send a few innate experts over to deal with it. I'll leave things here to you. Chu Yuan got up and left, eager to try the effects of the mutated fruit. 5:45 p.m. Cloud City Shelter released a news announcement in the name of the Diyuan Group. The content is as follows. The Empire will establish a super martial artist alliance. Anyone who has awakened a super martial armor must register their identity with the Super Martial Artist Alliance and become a member of the alliance, ready to be dispatched by the Diyuan Group at any time. Those who disobey the call of the Diyuan Group will be treated as rebels and must be eliminated. The Diyuan Group is the ancient martial artist organization of the Qianlong Empire, and CEO Chu is a great Grandmaster-level ancient martial artist. This morning, he led 300 ancient martial artists to capture a mutated tree. Below is a video of CEO Chu and the 300 ancient martial artists fighting the horde of monsters. Attached to the announcement was a 10-minute video. The video showed CEO Chu, alone with a sword, leading 300 ancient martial artists in the struggle for a mutated tree. He was truly too strong, walking on air. His sword moves were peerless. Every sword strike was overwhelmingly domineering. Amidst the sweeping sword light, large swathes of mutated creatures were harvested by him. The visible, rampant true chi around his body roared like a dragon. One man and one sword blocked wave after wave of impact from the mutated creatures. The remaining 300 ancient martial artists were picking the fruits at the fastest speed. The release of this Cloud City news and video shocked all the super martial artists in Cloud City. When ordinary people saw it, they were incredibly encouraged. Having such a powerhouse among humanity, like a stabilizing divine needle, could bring people some hope and security. Holy crap. CEO Chu is incredibly formidable. Is this the legendary ancient martial artist? They actually exist. I am completely willing to be dispatched by such an existence. Let's go. Most super martial artists had no complaints upon seeing this news announcement and rushed to the Empire Army shelter immediately. Cloud City. A certain zoo. Human, why have you come to this emperor's domain? The calamity-level silverback gorilla, transformed into a burly, bald strongman, had already taken control of all the mutated animals in this zoo, including an evil seed-level lion and a peacock. Inside the hall, the bald silverback sat high upon his so-called throne, flanked by the Lion King and the Peacock King. Mu Kingsu smiled slightly and said, "Hello. Ape Emperor Silverback, I have a shelter and I would like to invite you to guard it. The environment there is much better than here. Do you have any interest?" Cute Treasure stood behind her, looking slightly displeased. "Benefits?" The Ape Emperor Silverback neither refused nor agreed, but asked directly for benefits, even before the world mutated. His intelligence was very high. He knew that humans had been raising him, so he held no hostility toward them. If he were wild, he would have torn her to shreds long ago. "What kind of benefits do you want?" Seeing that the Ape Emperor Silverback did not refuse, Mu Kingsu asked tentatively. "For example, mutated fruit." The Ape Emperor Silverback showed a rough, wild smile. "If we manage to pick mutated fruit in the future, you will certainly receive more. We will distribute them according to merit." Mu Kingsu smiled slightly and said, "Furthermore, CEO Chu of the Diyuan Group will not let go of any mutated creatures that are hostile to humans. This is the power of our CEO Chu." Saying this, Mu Kingsu played the 10-minute video for the Ape Emperor Silverback to watch. "So strong." The Ape Emperor Silverback watched for a moment, revealing deep apprehension. "Cooperating with humans is definitely better than staying here," Mu Kingsu said seriously. "You must have noticed that even more terrifying creatures are lurking in the darkness. Having a safe shelter as a place to survive means you won't fear being hunted by those weird transformation creatures. I might as well be frank, more of these creatures will appear later." The Ape Emperor Silverback nodded in agreement, saying, "When I went out hunting last night, I did feel powerful and evil creatures lurking in the dark." "Fine, Lion King, Peacock King. Go gather the brothers with potential, we will follow them to the shelter." 23. A bizarre creature has arrived. 7:30 p.m. The afterglow of the sun gradually faded, and night slowly enveloped the earth. Outside the gate of Qingyan High School in Cloud City, a golden weird transformation creature, its body emitting black lightning and its aura extremely weak, appeared. Upon closer inspection, there were also penetrating wounds on its shoulders, from which golden blood flowed. "Lord Black Dragon, I have come to pledge my allegiance to you. Please take back your lightning." The golden weird transformation creature immediately knelt on the ground, its sharp, hoarse voice echoing throughout the entire school. Ever since it was injured by Gu Qijue in the morning, not only could its wounds not heal, but the rampant, violent thunder within its body also refused to dissipate, constantly destroying its vitality. No matter how many creatures it devoured, it was useless. Unwilling to die, it could only come here, hoping that man could save it. Swish, 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 Zhaohu Jiashang, and Bai Hu came upon hearing the sound. When they saw it was a weird transformation creature, all three were greatly surprised. But upon discovering its severe injuries and weakened aura, they all breathed a sigh of relief. "You're looking for our boss?" In this hot weather, Bai Hu wore a refreshing white combat suit, her snow-white beautiful legs long and straight, with ample breasts and a rounded bottom. Her exquisite and charming face exuded countless charms, and her captivating eyes seemed capable of hooking away one's very soul. She was now at the peak of the 3rd rank. With 2 or 3 more fruits, she would steadily advance to the 4th rank. Zhao Hu and Jai Shang, after consuming 2 mutated fruits and absorbing a day's sunlight, were at the early stage of the 3rd rank Emperor rank Super Martial Artist and late stage of the 3rd rank Saint rank Super Martial Artist, respectively. "Yes, I entity am willing to serve Lord Black Dragon. I only ask him to take back the thunder within me. I will die if this continues." Its voice was hoarse and sharp. "Full of evil, come in and wait, boss is still sleeping." Bai Hu was pleasantly surprised. If they could gain the service of a weird transformation creature, it would be another great help for them. Swish, swish just then. 2 super martial artists quickly arrived from afar. The one in front wore a yaksha armor and the one behind wore a white tiger armor. From their curvaceous figures, both were women. "Who are you?" They stopped outside the school gate, first glancing at the kneeling entity, then looking at Bai Hu and the others as if facing a formidable enemy. Jai Shang shouted, "And who are you?" "Who am I?" The woman in yaksha armor removed her helmet and said, "I am the principal here." "Ah, principal, it's you." As a student here, Jai Shang recognized the woman at a glance. Bai Jingyi looked at Jai Shang and said, "What's going on? There are still survivors in the school. I'm here to take them to the Empire Army shelter." Jai Shang said, "Let's talk inside." "All right." Bai Jingyi entered the school with her daughter, and the entity followed behind. It really wanted to devour these humans, it was purely instinct. "Principal's building, 2nd floor conference room." "What? Your boss is staying in my room?" When Bai Jingyi learned of what had happened, A flush of red flashed across her mature and charming face. Damn it, her toy was in the drawer. After Jai Shang learned of her purpose, he shook his head and said, "Principal, if boss doesn't go to the Empire's shelter, neither will we. You should go ask if there are any survivors willing to go with you." Bai Jingyi frowned upon hearing this and said, "You are also super martial artists. If you don't register, you will be considered rebels. I'm sure you've seen the power of the Empire." "It doesn't matter as long as we can follow boss," Jai Shang said firmly. Bai Jingyi said, "I want to meet your boss." Jai Shang nodded, "You can. But boss isn't awake yet, wait a bit longer." At this time, Gu Qijue had actually woken up. After a comfortable sleep, he was now leaning on the bed, devouring mutated fruits one after another. He still had 108 fruits. After devouring 15 of them, he advanced to the late stage of the 4th rank. After devouring 30 more, he advanced to the peak of the 4th rank. After devouring 50 more, he advanced to the 5th rank. With 13 left, Gu Qijue decided not to eat anymore, even if he ate the rest. It wouldn't allow him to reach the middle stage of the 5th rank. What a pity. There are still too few mutated fruits. Gu Qijue shook his head and picked up the phone by his bedside to look at it. He saw a news article. He clicked to watch. Chu Yuan of the Qianlong Empire, a great grandmaster. Truly formidable. Seeing this video, Gu Qijue was not shocked, because in his previous life he knew there was such a Chu Yuan, a pillar of stability among humanity. But Gu Qijue was not afraid. Given some time to devour and evolve, surpassing him was only a matter of time. Because, as far as he knew, CEO Chu in his previous life was not much of a match for Lord Black Dragon. A new night arrived. Gu Qijue got up and washed, wearing only black pants below. No shirt. He had to go out at night to hunt and devour mutated creatures, and he would burst his clothes at any time, so it didn't matter whether he wore a shirt or not. Gu Qijue planned to evolve to the 7th rank, then attack Mu Kingsu's shelter and claim it for himself. As for whether the Empire would bomb it after he occupied it, Gu Qijue didn't believe they would disregard the lives of thousands of survivors. If they really did that, Cloud City wouldn't need the Empire anymore, and Gu Qijue would take its place. After washing up, Gu Qijue lit a cigarette and pushed the door open. He arrived at the 2nd-floor conference hall. "Boss," Bai Hu Jai Shang and Zhao Hu, who were waiting there, stood up and called out. Bai Jingyi and her daughter Su Qian also looked at him, sizing him up. From this man, they felt the threat of death. Both mother and daughter were now at the late stage of the 2nd rank, Emperor rank super martial artists, and captains of a super martial artist team in Cloud City's shelter. Most Emperor rank super martial artists could advance to the 2nd rank by absorbing a day's sunlight. "Lord Black Dragon, please save me. From now on, my life entity will be yours." The entity, whose aura was weak, slid and knelt before Gu Qijue, pleading bitterly. "A weird transformation creature like you finds it difficult to suppress the urge to devour humans. How can I trust you?" Gu Qijue looked at the kneeling entity before him and said indifferently, "I will do my best to suppress it. Please, Lord Black Dragon, trust me this once." The entity kowtowed repeatedly. "I can suppress the thunder within your body, but if you fail to control the urge to hunt and devour humans, it will erupt and remind you." Gu Qijue placed a hand on the entity's hideous head, and destructive, surging thunder flashed in his palm. A moment later, the thunder raging within the entity's body transformed into a ball of lightning in its mind. "Eat these 2 fruits, they will allow you to fully recover from your injuries." Gu Qijue casually tossed 2 mutated fruits to the ground. "Thank you, Master." The entity was overjoyed, snatched the fruits, and swallowed them. "Please give recommendation tickets, monthly tickets, deeply grateful." 24. Chu Mengxi betrays him. Monks and Taoist priests come to his door to kill him. Casually tossing 2 mutated fruits to the entity, Gu Qijue sat down at the conference table, his gaze falling on Bai Jingyi and her daughter. Su Qian. Gu Qijue recognized Su Qian. She was actually his classmate. He didn't expect to meet her here. Su Qian looked him up and down, saying in surprise, "Classmate Gu, I didn't expect it to be you." Seeing this, Bai Jingyi hesitated. "Zio Qian, is this your classmate?" Su Qian nodded. "Yes, Mom." "Hello, classmate Gu, I am Su Qian's mother, the principal of this high school. I'm here to take you all to the Empire shelter." Bai Jingyi looked at Gu Qijue and said straightforwardly, "It's too dangerous to stay here. It's better to come with us to the Empire shelter." Gu Qijue smiled faintly. "I killed General Lin's grandson. Do you think he'll let me in?" At these words, Bai Jingyi was speechless. "Go ask the survivors here. Whoever wants to leave with you, let them go. I will do my best to protect those who stay." At this point, Gu Qijue revealed a peculiar smile. "Of course. If you are willing to stay, I will also take you in. If they weren't emperor-rank super martial artists, Gu Qijue wouldn't have said this at all. Principal, stay. With boss's strength, we can pick many mutated fruits every day. But you might not be able to get mutated fruits in the Empire. Jai Shang persuaded and tempted at the same time. Taking one mutated fruit is equivalent to absorbing 6 or 7 hours of sunlight for cultivation. As boss and our strength grow, each of us will be able to take at least several per day. Fruits like that just now? Bai Jingyi heard this and said with some excitement, through the news. She knew that the fruits growing on the mutated trees that morning could be consumed by super martial artists, and they offered great benefits. Now hearing Jai Shang say that taking one mutated fruit was equivalent to absorbing 6 or 7 hours of sunlight for cultivation, how could she not be tempted? There were too many super martial artists in the Empire and quite a few emperor ranks. Even if they could pick mutated fruits from countless mutated creatures, it might not be their share. Can I try one? Bai Jingyi looked at Gu Qijue and whispered, if it really has such an effect, I am willing to stay. In this apocalypse, power is king. Gu Qijue didn't speak, taking out 2 from his glabella space and placing them in front of Bai Jingyi and Su Kaiyan. Thank you. Seeing this, the mother and daughter thanked him, then picked up the bright red fruits and took a bite. They found that it melted in their mouths, after transforming into a warm current in their bodies. This energy converged entirely into the super mark in their palms. When they finished eating the whole fruit, the super mark in their palms lit up with a glow, directly advancing them from 2-star super martial artist late stage to 3-star. Seeing their joyful faces, Gu Qijue said faintly, from now on, whoever wants mutated fruits needs to exchange them for contributions. Go out to collect supplies at night, and after snatching mutated fruits during the day, cultivate peacefully. When they finished eating the whole fruit, the super mark in their palms lit up with a glow, directly advancing them from 2-star super martial artist late stage to 3-star. Seeing their joyful faces, Gu Qijue said faintly, from now on, whoever wants mutated fruits needs to exchange them for contributions. Go out to collect supplies at night, and after snatching mutated fruits during the day, cultivate peacefully. Dinner is served. At this moment, Wu Jiao came up and called out. It was past 7 in the evening with 2 moons in the sky outside. Master, I'll leave first. I'll be sure to bring back enough food for you humans when I return. The entity, whose injuries had already recovered, said in a low voice. If I don't see you back tomorrow morning, I will activate the lightning orb in your mind and obliterate you, Gu Qijue said. Giving it a faint glance, I wouldn't dare, I'm off now. With that, the entity flew out the window. Classmate Gu. Zio Kaiyan and I will also stay. Bai Jingyi couldn't resist the temptation of the mutated fruits. Gu Qijue nodded slightly. That's good, go down to eat first. Then all of you go out to collect supplies. Bai Jingyi coughed lightly. Classmate Gu, you're staying in my room. I have some things to tidy up. You all go down to eat first. I'll be right there. As you wish. Gu Qijue said faintly, then led everyone downstairs. Bai Jingyi went upstairs to her former room. Upon entering the room, when she saw the drawer slightly ajar, her mature and charming face immediately flushed. This, he must have seen it. Downstairs in the dining room, Gu Qijue, Baihu, Zhaohu, Wu Jiao, Su Kaiyan, Jai Shang, and others were already seated at the dining table. Where's Chu Mengxi? Why isn't she here? Gu Qijue looked around and didn't see her. Logically, she should have returned by now. And she hadn't sent him any messages either. Zhaohu shook his head. I haven't seen her return. Could it be that after seeing ancient martial artists among humans, she ran away, or perhaps she met with misfortune? Su Kaiyan heard this and said, Chu Mengxi, she's in the Empire shelter, I saw her there once. Damn it, sure enough that bitch, she wouldn't sell us out. Would she? Zhaohu was suddenly startled, hearing this. Gu Qijue's eyes flashed with a cold light. He took out his phone and directly made a WeChat voice call to Chu Mengxi, but he found that she wasn't a friend anymore. 6. Gu Qijue's eyes filled with killing intent. I should have killed her earlier, I was too benevolent. Demon dragon, come out and die? Just then, a woman's loud shout suddenly came from outside the school. Damn it, she really sold us out. Bastard. She deserves to be cut into 1,000 pieces. Jai Shang and Zhao, who were both furious when they heard the sound. Su Kaiyan, who knew the inside story, whispered, Boss. 2 innate ancient martial artists arrived at the Cloud City shelter today. It must be them. If she dares to betray me, I will make her watch her own family die in front of her. Gu Qijue's eyes showed a cold glint as he got up and quickly walked outside. Seeing this, everyone angrily followed behind him. Outside the school gate, there weren't many people. Only a handsome monk and a female Taoist priest wearing a Taoist robe. The handsome monk smiled, listening to that female benefactor. He is human, so your way of addressing him is incorrect. The female Taoist priest snorted. How can a human look like that? This kind of anomaly must be eliminated. You too speak with such arrogance. Do you really think you can kill me? I think you've come to your deaths. At this moment, Gu Qijue walked out with Bai Hu and the others. As expected, arrogant, abusing and killing human super martial artists, this crime alone means that whether you are human or not, you will surely die today. The female Taoist priest drew her 3-foot green sword with a clang, pointing it coldly at Gu Qijue. Amitabha, benefactor, turn back before it's too late. The handsome monk uttered a Buddhist chant, saying, if you surrender, this humble monk guarantees your life will not be in danger. Zhao Hu sneered, hypocritical bald donkey, what are you barking about? Surrender? Do you really think you're someone important? As humans, yet associating with monsters, you all deserve to die. The female Taoist priest's eyes were filled with killing intent. Visible true qi swirled around her body, and then with a whoosh, she directly charged at Gu Qijue with her sword. 4 chapters updated today. Please vote with recommendation tickets and monthly passes. Subsequent chapters can be watched for free by activating membership. Thank you for your support. 25. Vulnerable. The female Taoist priest's family had died at the hands of mutated monsters, which is why she hated all monsters. She utilized ancient martial artist footwork, holding a 3-foot Qingfeng sword, with dense innate true qi enveloping her body. She unleashed an incredibly swift set of sword techniques, striking toward Gu Qijue. Gu Qijue looked at the charging female Taoist priest with an expressionless, cold gaze. 2 black dragons roared as they burst forth from behind him, then opened their massive, blood-red mouths, spitting black lightning as they lunged forward. Bang, clang, crack. Facing the sword qi unleashed by the female Taoist priest's sword moves, the 2 black dragons simply tore it apart with their mouths, instantly rushing right in front of the female Taoist priest. Huh. The female Taoist priest's expression shifted slightly, tapping her feet repeatedly. She retreated swiftly like a flash of light. Innate martial artist, nothing special. Gu Qijue's eyes flashed with blood-red light, and violent lightning suddenly flickered around his body. With a boom, he stomped and shattered the concrete floor beneath his feet. Exceedingly tyrannical, he instantly charged in front of the female Taoist priest, his large hand wreathed in lightning. Aiming straight for her face, his speed was freakishly fast. How is this possible? The female Taoist priest's eyes widened. She never expected this person to be so powerful. With a loud smack, her face was firmly grasped by Gu Qijue, and then he fiercely flung her away like a small chick. Under the destructive power of the lightning in his palm, the female Taoist priest's entire face was a bloody mess. With no intact skin visible, even her eyes were blinded. In your next life, don't be so arrogant. Gu Qijue let out a cold snort, took a rapid stride, caught up to her with unstoppable force, and raised his hand, ready to finish off the female Taoist priest with a single palm strike. If he were still at 4th rank middle stage, he might have had to use his strongest state against this female Taoist priest. After advancing to 5th rank, a mere innate ancient martial artist was something he could casually crush. Stop! Only then did the handsome monk react. He immediately roared in anger, golden light shining brightly around him, and raised his palm to strike out 3 dazzling golden palm prints toward Gu Qijue. Bang! Roar! Gu Qijue mobilized the twin dragons to tear apart the incoming palm prints, while his large hand slapped directly down toward the female Taoist priest's crown, accompanied by a bang. The female Taoist priest spat out a large mouthful of blood, her breath failing. Instantly killed. How could this be? The handsome monk no longer retained his previous composure. Now he looked at Gu Qijue with a face full of terror, then turned around without a word and fled at maximum speed. Innate ancient martial artists can briefly fly, but only ascend 20 to 30 meters. He shot into the sky, attempting to escape the area. Stay here. Gu Qijue looked up, and the lightning in his palm condensed into a lightning spear, which he hurled straight toward the fleeing handsome monk. ZZZZT, the lightning spear ripped through the sky, reaching the handsome monk's back in the blink of an eye. No! The handsome monk turned his head, his face ashen, and circulated the true qi within his body, striking out a swastika seal. Boom! Bang! The lightning spear collided with the swastika seal. The latter lasted less than 2 seconds before being shattered by the lightning spear. The lightning spear, having shattered the swastika seal, irresistibly pierced the handsome monk's heart. He vomited large mouthfuls of blood, his body falling from a height of over 10 meters, dying amid continuous spasms and blood loss. So powerful. Having witnessed Gu Qijue's strength firsthand, Sukayan's sexy little mouth was slightly agape. As if she were meeting Gu Qijue for the first time, Zhao Hu laughed wildly. Haha, boss is mighty. These arrogant pieces of trash who don't know their place deserve to be killed. This kind of clean, decisive, and overwhelmingly powerful kill left them all incredibly excited. Boss, our location has been exposed. Should we move immediately? Jai Shang stepped forward and said with a serious expression, killing 2 ancient martial artists has already caused a rift with the Empire, and this matter has escalated. The Empire might disregard the 50-plus survivors here and just carpet bomb the area with rocket launchers. General Lin, for the sake of your personal grudge, you caused the deaths of 2 ancient martial artists from the Diyuan group. You really are something. Gu Qijue looked up at the sky, knowing the other party must be watching via satellite. He said coldly, this school has over 50 survivors. If you want to disregard human life, then bomb it. Gu Qijue wanted to see if the other party dared to be so insane. Damn it, how is he so strong? Lin Zhengxiao, War General, was indeed watching via satellite. Hearing Gu Qijue's provocation, he clenched his fists, gritted his teeth, and his eyes flashed fiercely. This was a new generation of satellite, capable of transmitting not only visuals but also sound accurately. At this moment, Lin Zhengxiao, War General, desperately wanted to order the bombing, but he dared not. If there were no survivors there, he would have given the order without hesitation. Now, even if he gave the order, the officers present would surely object. Deputy General said in a deep voice, War General, report this matter to the Diyuan group in Capital City. This is no longer something we can handle. It must be so. Lin Zhengxiao, War General, sighed helplessly and said to the adjutant, immediately report this matter to Capital City and send the video of the entire process along with it. I am not pursuing a personal vendetta. It's just that if this monster doesn't die, it will cause too much harm to humanity. Yes, sir, the adjutant responded and went to handle it. Minister of Satellite Department said, innate ancient martial artists are not this dragon demon's opponents. Isn't that too outrageous? The Minister of Information Department said, as far as I know, they were only at innate early stage. If 2 innate peak experts came, they should be able to deal with him easily. After learning that Gu Qijue was also human, they actually didn't hold much hostility toward him. He neither massacred ordinary people nor killed super martial artists without reason. It was always those lunatic super martial artists who provoked him, and they ended up being counter-killed. But Lin Zhengxiao, War General, clung to this matter, wanting to use public authority to avenge his grandson. Although everyone present was a high-ranking official here, they couldn't change the fact that those 2 ancient martial artists and Lin Zhengxiao intended to kill Gu Qijue. What? The assassination failed? When Chu Mengxi, who was in the shelter, received the news, she looked incredulously at the handsome man in a suit in front of her and asked, can that guy even contend with innate ancient martial artists? Not contend. But those 2 innate ancient martial artists were both counter-killed. The handsome man in a suit shook his head and said, Mengxi, you betrayed that monster. If he doesn't die, you will be in great danger. I'm sorry. I put you in a dangerous situation. This man in the suit was Chu Mengxi's first love. It was precisely because of him that Chu Mengxi acted this way. Brother Chen. It's all right, the Diyuan group absolutely won't let him live. No matter how strong he is, once this matter escalates, CEO Chu might even come over personally. He is certain to die. Chu Mengxi was very calm, she said. Although he is human, he is somewhat anti-human. He will definitely die. She never had much loyalty toward Gu Qijue to begin with, at the time. She was only submitting grudgingly due to Gu Qijue's unbeatable strength. Ever since she learned that the Qianlong Empire had another Diyuan group, filled with numerous powerful ancient martial artists, and that someone could kill that man, she had no intention of returning. The human heart has always been fickle, not to mention that she was forced. Lin Yichen nodded in agreement and said, MHM, my mom wants to see you, let's go over. His mother was none other than Minister of Satellite Department. 26, you want to use me as a guinea pig? You're probably not cut out for it. It was night. 8:30 p.m., twin moons hung in the sky, revolving around the star blue continent. No one knew where the extra moon came from. The astronomy department couldn't figure out anything either, only vaguely discovering that the new moon emitted a mysterious magnetic field. This magnetic field seemed to specifically target the original moon. This led the scientists of the Qianlong Empire to unanimously suspect that the original moon might indeed have a lunar matrix, restricting human awakening and development, and the new moon was there to restrict the latter's influence. Of course, all of this was still speculation. With humanity's current technology, a definitive conclusion cannot be reached for now. The night was as dark as ink and mutated monsters ran rampant. Capital City, Diyuan Group Building, Conference Hall. Chu Yuan sat at the head of the table, expressionlessly watching the video on the screen in front of him. 4 people sat around the long table. They were 2 elderly men at the peak of the Grandmaster stage, an elderly woman, and a middle-aged beautiful woman in a Taoist robe. Is this child truly human? The beautiful woman in the Taoist robe looked at the video, where Gu Qijue was slaughtering her Longyuan mountain disciple, her gaze slightly cold as she spoke indifferently. This child, named Gu Qijue, is an orphan from Ling County Orphanage in Cloud City. His adoptive parents were not kind to him, often beating him, which led to his reclusive and gloomy personality, without even a single close friend. Elder Lu Tuan recounted Gu Qijue's general experiences from childhood to adulthood in one breath. The elderly woman said, "If he is human, why can he transform into a dragon demon at will? This is the suspicious point. How did he do it?" Elder He Rui narrowed his eyes and said, "Could it be that he resisted the mutation?" Chu Yuan lightly tapped the table with his finger, nodded, and said, "We can't rule out that possibility. I called you all here tonight to discuss how to deal with this child. Please share your opinions." The Grandmaster elderly woman said, "In this apocalypse, it's understandable that he killed some super martial artists who treated him as a monster. And he didn't slaughter ordinary people. We can give him some leeway. Isn't Lin Zhengxiao's grandson an ordinary person?" The Grandmaster beautiful woman retorted with a sneer, saying, "He dared to kill my Longyuan mountain disciple. I will not let him go." Grandmaster He Rui shook his head and said, "Madam Zhang, it's not that serious, is it? He was completely acting in self-defense. What fault is there?" Elder He. "Elder Yu, do you want to win over this child?" Grandmaster Lu Tuan showed a cold smile and said, "This child has a gloomy personality. If we don't kill him, there will be endless troubles. HMPH, I'm merely stating the facts. Everything awaits CEO Chu's decision." He Rui snorted coldly, no longer speaking, and looked at Chu Yuan, the beautiful woman in palace dress. The elderly woman Yu Liheng and Lu Tuan all simultaneously turned their gaze to him. As the leader of Diyuan Group, I should be broad-minded. Is this child truly impossible to spare? Chu Yuan's profound gaze looked at Lu Tuan and the beautiful woman in palace dress. Yes, both of them nodded heavily. I, however, think he's suitable for research. Chu Yuan said faintly, "He must have resisted the mutation. If we can thoroughly study him, perhaps we can transfer the genes of mutated creatures to ordinary people. At that time, all citizens of our Qianlong Empire will be like dragons." Upon hearing this, Lu Tuan and the other 4's eyes slightly lit up, and they said in unison, "Good. Chu Yuan's thoughts are indeed more far-sighted than ours. If we can truly research a sample of mutation-resistant genes from him, the benefits would be immense." Chu Yuan nodded slightly and said, "Since none of you have any objections, then send a few innate peak experts to apprehend this child." "It should be so," the 4 nodded. Next, following the orders issued by Diyuan Group, 4 innate peak experts took a combat helicopter overnight to Cloud City. It's not that they were cruel, it's just that if Gu Qijue were in Chu Yuan's position and encountered an anomaly like himself, his first thought would undoubtedly be to capture and study him. This is the cruelty of this world. There's no right or wrong. Cloud City, Qingyan High School. Gu Qijue stood on the rooftop of the principal's building, looking at the vast night sky, and let out a soft sigh. He wasn't a fool, he clearly understood his own situation. Once the Empire found out, he would definitely become their guinea pig. He had no intention of being enemies with anyone, but alas, tonight, I must devour to the 6th rank. You want to use me as a guinea pig? I'm afraid you don't have the life for it. Gu Qijue's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. Tomorrow, I must also monopolize a mutated tree. Facing the powerful ancient martial artists among humans, Gu Qijue also felt some pressure. He took out his phone, added Mu Qingsu's WeChat, and attached a message, "I'll give you one more chance. Accept the friend request and give up your shelter. Otherwise, once I personally take it, I will definitely kill you." He now needed such a safe stronghold because Cloud City was near the river, and soon, the Yun River, which connected to the ocean, would have countless mutated sea monsters crawling onto land. After sending this message, Gu Qijue flashed a few times and disappeared into the darkness. Tonight, he didn't let Jai Shang and the others go out to search for supplies. Instead, he let them get a good night's sleep. Because he was going to take over Mu Qingsu's shelter using special means. He would devour all night. And before dawn, he would secretly wait outside her shelter. Once the door opened, he would rush in and slaughter indiscriminately. It would be incredibly difficult to blast open an iron door over a meter thick with brute force. So he could only resort to this method. Tonight, Gu Qijue would devour all creatures of the exotic level and above. He wouldn't let go of weird transformation creatures either. In the darkness, Gu Qijue transformed into a hunter. After reaching the 5th rank, he could already sense higher-level mutated creatures within a certain range, even weird transformation creatures. Around 4 a.m. Roar! Gu Qijue had just finished devouring a weird transformation creature and advanced to the peak of the 5th rank when a furious roar suddenly came from a distant residential area. A gorilla's roar? Gu Qijue heard the sound, and a unique smile appeared on his lips. If my guess is correct, Mutation has already won over that silverback ape emperor. Immediately, he rushed over there at the fastest speed. Gu Qijue also had a plan to infiltrate Mutange's shelter. That was through Cute Treasure and the silverback ape emperor that Mutation had won over. This night, he had been searching for Cute Treasure and the silverback ape emperor. As mutated creatures, they would definitely come out to hunt at night, if he could subdue them. Entering Mutange's shelter would be too easy. Arriving at that residential area, Gu Qijue saw a gorilla over 2 zhang tall being besieged by 4 gray weird transformation creatures. Blood flowed from deep, bone-visible wounds on its sturdy body. The silverback ape emperor had fled all the way here, but it couldn't outrun the weird transformation creatures in the dark. Damn it, heaven wants me dead? The silverback ape emperor roared, continuously beating its chest. Facing 1 or 2 weird transformation creatures, it had the power to fight, but encountering 4 besieging it together, it was truly difficult to resist. Jai, however. At this moment, the 4 weird transformation creatures that were besieging the silverback ape emperor all looked towards a patch of darkness. Then, in fear, they scattered and fled. The fierce reputation of the black dragon had long spread among the weird transformation creature circles. If you don't run when you encounter it, you will only die. Whoosh, crackle. The moment they started to run, Gu Qijue's furious figure instantly bypassed the silverback gorilla and chased after them. Devouring a weird transformation creature was equivalent to consuming 20 to 30 mutated fruits. How could Gu Qijue let them go? He summoned his thunder dragon sword, quickly caught up to 1 weird transformation creature, forcefully pierced its chest with a sword, and then chased after another weird transformation creature. His speed was incredibly abnormal. A black lightning flash appeared behind that weird transformation creature. Spare! It wanted to beg for mercy. But just as it opened its mouth to say a word, Gu Qijue cut off its head with a single sword strike. Kill, devour. Gu Qijue currently had only these 2 thoughts, because the pressure from the ancient martial artists was too great. So, strong, the silverback ape emperor watched, mouth agape and tongue dry. Utterly shocked, in less than a minute, Gu Qijue held 2 weird transformation creatures in his hands, while his twin dragons each bit onto one on his back. He walked out of the darkness towards the silverback ape emperor. Lord, spare my life? The silverback ape emperor was so frightened that it knelt on the ground, begging for mercy, its massive body trembling violently. Gu Qijue threw the corpses of the weird transformation creatures onto the ground, then controlled his twin dragons to devour them. His gaze then fell upon the silverback ape emperor, and he said indifferently, Mutation, do you know her? I know her. The ape emperor nodded repeatedly, its eyes filled with terror. This being before it slaughtered weird transformation creatures as easily as killing chickens or monkeys, chilling it to the bone, fearing it would also be devoured. Mutated creatures also devoured each other daily. Lucky mutated creatures, even ordinary ones, could rise to become overlords. Gu Qijue nodded and said, so, you can freely enter and exit that shelter? Yes, if you lord also wish to enter, I can take you in. The calamity-level ape emperor in front of Gu Qijue was like a docile kitten at this moment. Very good, I want to take that shelter. I'll wait in the distance and you'll have them open the door. Gu Qijue revealed a sinister smile. Mutation, since you insist on seeking death, I, Gu, will fulfill your wish immediately. The ape emperor fawned. Yes, I also think that only you, lord, are qualified to possess that shelter. Late stage 4th rank, it seems you devoured quite a bit tonight. Compared to you, lord, I am far inferior, the ape emperor said with a fawning smile. I still need a few more weird transformation creatures to advance to the 6th rank, at 5:30. We'll meet outside the shelter. Here are 4 mutated fruits. Take them to recover from your injuries. Gu Qijue casually tossed the remaining 4 mutated fruits to the latter, then flashed into the darkness and disappeared. Mutated fruits can only exist for 24 hours. Once the time is up, they will wither. Thank you, Lord. From now on, I little ape will follow you. The ape emperor roared its thanks in the direction Gu Qijue disappeared. Having escaped death and received 4 mutated fruits, the ape emperor was incredibly excited, and its loyalty to Gu Qijue was unparalleled. 27. The panda boy joins the fight and storms the shelter. Third day of the apocalypse, a little past 5 in the morning. The twin moons gradually disappeared, and in this summer, dawn was about to break. At Cloud City Shelter, a combat helicopter flew in at this moment. Just like last time, Lin Zhengxiao, war general, led the high-ranking officials of Cloud City to welcome them. 4 people disembarked from the helicopter. An old man, a middle-aged man, a woman in her early 30s, and a seemingly younger woman. They should have arrived earlier, but they encountered many insect-mutated creatures' attacks on the way, including several calamity-level insect emperors of the 4th and 5th ranks. After a night of fierce fighting, they were late. Where is the demon dragon? Before Lin Zhengxiao, war general, and the others could speak, the old man leading them said coldly. Lin Zhengxiao, war general, replied respectfully, replying to this elder. They are at Qingyan High School. Do you want to go there now? The woman heard this, took out her phone to locate Qingyan High School in Cloud City, and without replying to Lin Zhengxiao, war general, said, located. Let's go. With that, they left directly. They didn't even look at these so-called officers of Cloud City. Their mission was to capture the demon dragon alive, not to exchange pleasantries with these people. Lin Zhengxiao, war general, and the others watched them leave, not daring to show any dissatisfaction. Instead, they returned to the operations hall together to use the satellite to capture the scene at Qingyan High School. At the same time, Diyuan Group in the capital city was also sharing their satellite view. Led by Chu Yuan, the palace-dressed beautiful woman, Lu Tuan He Rui, and Yu Liheng had all cultivated for an entire night after consuming mutated fruit, and were now watching here. The mutated fruit had a tremendous effect on them. Chu Yuan was originally at the early stage of Great Grandmaster, but after refining hundreds of mutated fruit, he was faintly about to break through to the middle stage. As for Lu Tuan and the other 4, who were peak Grandmasters, they also felt they were about to step into the Great Grandmaster realm. Meanwhile, at Mu Qingsu's shelter, in the central villa's main hall, Mu Qingsu also received the Cloud City satellite projection share and was watching with Zhu Hongyu, Chu Baixuan, and Su Qing, the 3 saint-level super martial artists. What they didn't know was, outside the shelter, Gu Qijue had already arrived. Boss, seeing Gu Qijue emerge from the darkness, Ape Emperor, who was waiting there, excitedly stepped forward to greet him. Go, have them open the door, then I'll appear. Gu Qijue, with white hair and blood-red eyes and ferocious twin dragons coiling behind him, quietly watched the shelter with his blood-colored pupils. Big brother Black Dragon, why are you here? Suddenly, Cute Treasure's voice came, and then he quickly arrived. Then, he was seen arriving quickly. He had actually break through to the 5th rank. Gu Qijue looked at him and said, I'm here to seize this shelter. Will you stop me? As he spoke, a murderous intent flashed in Gu Qijue's eyes. No, Cute Treasure said very seriously, as long as Big Brother Black Dragon doesn't slaughter ordinary people, I can help you take this shelter together. He had long been dissatisfied with Mu Qingsu, although he didn't know why, he just was and couldn't stand her. Gu Qijue, on the other hand, gave him a very kind feeling. What good would slaughtering humans do me? Gu Qijue patted his shoulder and said, like you, I just don't want to be a puppet for those in power. All right then, Ape Emperor. Let's go, Cute Treasure called Ape Emperor to the shelter. Outside the shelter's heavy iron gate, cameras were installed. When the duty officer in the monitoring room saw Ape Emperor and Cute Treasure returning on the video, he immediately opened the door just enough to let them in, but once the gap was open, they weren't in a hurry to enter. Whoosh, seeing this, Gu Qijue appeared at the door with the fastest speed. Oh no, the duty officer in the monitoring room immediately wanted to press the door closing switch. However, it was already too late. Gu Qijue, along with Ape Emperor and Cute Treasure, had already stepped into this very safe shelter through the door crack. Damn it, those 2 beasts have betrayed us. The duty officer in the monitoring room's face changed drastically, and he immediately broadcast. All super martial artists, listen up. Cute Treasure and Ape Emperor have betrayed us and brought that demon dragon into the shelter. They have entered the shelter. Please eliminate them immediately. What's going on? Did that Black Dragon Emperor come in? My heavens, letting us deal with him, isn't that just sending us to our deaths? Whoever wants to go, goes. I heard that Black Dragon Emperor has many super martial artists under him and protects many survivors, so he wouldn't slaughter us. Hundreds of super martial artists in the shelter heard the broadcast, but not a single one went out to meet the enemy. The most crucial thing was that Cute Treasure and Ape Emperor had both betrayed them. How could they fight? How could they stop them? Going would just be suicide. Therefore, they all chose to watch the show. What's happening? Mu Qingsu, Chu Baixuan, Zhu Hongyu, and Su Qing, who were in the central villa's hall preparing to watch the capital city's arrival to capture Gu Qijue, all had their expressions drastically change at this moment. Cute Treasure actually betrayed us with Ape Emperor and brought Gu Qijue in? Chu Baixuan was horrified and said, "None of us can stop them, we should quickly escape by helicopter." Damn it, beasts are indeed beasts, completely unreliable. Mu Qingsu's face was ashen, and without another word she said, "Go, even if Cute Treasure and Ape Emperor hadn't betrayed them. They probably wouldn't have had the strength to fight if Gu Qijue came in, not to mention they had betrayed them." A helicopter was parked a few hundred meters outside the villa. Although it was dangerous outside, staying here meant certain death. The group merged with their super martial armor and rushed to the helicopter at the fastest speed. Boom, whoosh, however, just as they were about to board, a thunderous spear broke through the air from a distance. Its speed so fast that in the blink of an eye it destroyed their hope of escaping. "It's over." Seeing this, the few of them gasped for breath, with eyes full of fear. They looked towards where the thunderous spear had flown from. They saw three figures approaching at an extremely fast speed. The one leading them was their nightmare. Mu Qingsu stumbled, nearly collapsing to the ground in fear and despair. Chu Baixuan was also extremely desperate because he knew that his daughter had betrayed this man. If she hadn't betrayed him, he would still have had a chance to live. But now, an endless sense of suffocation enveloped him. Zhu Hongyu and Su Qing, however, did not show much fear because they had never offended Gu Qijue. There was still a good chance for them to live. "Gu has just arrived, why are you all in such a hurry to leave?" Gu Qijue, with Cute Treasure and Ape Emperor, flashed over, looking at the four people with a playful gaze. "Gu Qijue, I am willing to give you this shelter. Please let me leave, and I will never be your enemy again." Mu Qingsu dispersed her super martial armor, biting her jade lips, and said, "If you don't want to let me leave, I am willing to become your woman." "Heh, if you had spoken so nicely before I came in, I would have been very gratified." Gu Qijue gave a cold smile. "As for now, it's too late." 28 Jai Shang Zhaohu. "And others are in danger, ruthless destruction of beauty." At the same time, Qingyan High School, where did that demon dragon go? The 4 and 8 peak martial artists who rushed here from the capital city had already arrived, using force to subdue all the survivors and super martial artists onto the plaza outside the teaching building. "Spare us. We were all kidnapped here by that demon dragon. Please spare us. Big brothers and sisters." "That's right, that beast kidnapped us here to work for him. Esteemed lords, you must kill him. Please, esteemed lords, uphold justice." The ordinary people present, fearing implication, continuously cursed and fabricated stories of how they were kidnapped. "You pieces of trash deserve to die. Did the boss ever hurt you? He's been providing for you all this time. Hasn't he?" Jai Shang watched the expressions of those people and spat fiercely. "Damn it, if I had known this, I should have just let you fend for yourselves." "Brother Jai, why waste your breath talking to this trash? If I get the chance, I'll kill them all." Zhao Hu's gaze was fierce, and he wasn't joking in the slightest. He provided good food and drink for these people, only for them to show such faces in the end. "Those willing to follow us back to the shelter. Come over here," the leading elder spoke indifferently, his expression cold. Whoosh, all the survivors rushed over in a flood. "What about you? Are you still going to follow that demon dragon and be enemies of humanity?" The mature woman coldly looked at Zhao Hu, Jai Shang, Wu Jiao, Lu Hao, Wu Hai, Tang Huang, Li Si, Bai Jingyi, Su Kaiyan, and the more than 20 other super martial artists. White Fox was not here. She had also gone out to devour and evolve, having received a powerful lightning orb condensed by Gu Qijue to deter the weird transformation creatures in the darkness. Gu Qijue had now become a taboo existence within the circles of the weird transformation creatures. Bai Jingyi and Su Kaiyan were somewhat wavering, feeling extremely conflicted. Should they insist on staying and risk being killed, or return to the Empire? As for the others, they had no such wavering in their hearts. In this life, they were determined to follow Gu Qijue, even if it meant death. "4 of you. When did our boss become an enemy of humanity?" Jai Shang sneered. "If it weren't for our boss, those dozens of ordinary people on your side would have long become dinner for monsters." The young woman's gaze was cold. "How did that demon dragon brainwash you to make you so loyal to him? Aren't you afraid of death?" Wu Jiao scoffed. "Cut the nonsense. If you want to kill us, then do it. Don't spout high-sounding rhetoric." "Is no one really coming over?" The leading elder showed killing intent, appearing somewhat impatient. No one responded, although everyone feared death. In this apocalypse, would joining the Empire guarantee a long life? Not necessarily. If they died here. They were all convinced that the boss would avenge them at any cost. Stubborn and unrepentant, then die? The ancient martial artist elder ran out of patience. With a clang, he drew the long saber carried on his back, and violent true qi surged around him. He was about to rush forward and slaughter these anti-human super martial artists. Jai, however, right at this moment, from the darkness, one sinister and evil chuckle after another rang out. Simultaneously, pair after pair of scarlet eyes lit up in the darkness. As these eyes and chuckles appeared, the temperature of the place seemed to drop by several degrees. Counting carefully, there were exactly 8 pairs of scarlet eyes staring at the 4 innate ancient martial artists in the darkness. What kind of monsters are these? With the eyesight of the 4 innate ancient martial artists, enhanced by true qi, they could naturally see what creatures were in the darkness. They were 8 monsters, entirely golden, incredibly ferocious, with 3 eyes, mouths full of sharp fangs, 6 claws on the left hand, a right hand like a blade, a tail, a row of bone spurs on their backs, and 2 gaping, bloody mouths on their chests. They were short in stature, but gave off a feeling of evil and ferocity. The 3 eyes were filled with bloodlust, evil, and sinister malice. Kill them! The leading elder gave a low shout, raising his long saber and charging into the darkness. Meanwhile, at Mu Qingsu's shelter, Gu Qijue, if you can spare me. I am willing to be your woman. Mu Qingsu, desperate to live, had completely thrown caution to the wind, speaking tearfully and pitifully while biting her delicate lips. Gu Qijue grabbed her snow-white neck and whispered into her ear. Having lived a second life, why are you still courting death? What did you say? Hearing Gu Qijue's whisper in her ear, Mu Qingsu felt as if she had been struck by lightning, and she blurted out. How do you know? Only a few absolute high-ranking officials of the Qianlong Empire knew about this matter. What does it matter how I know, for someone who is about to die? Gu Qijue patted her cheek and sneered. A fool like you. I really don't know how you managed to come back. Crack. Saying this, Gu Qijue, without any pity for her beauty, crushed her neck and said flatly, if you have another life, don't be so foolish. A person like Mu Qingsu, lacking personal strength, still wanted to rope in powerful experts and protect this shelter. Even if Gu Qijue didn't kill her today, she probably wouldn't be able to suppress the ape emperor, Chu Baixuan, and the others later on. If only she had been a bit smarter and allowed Gu Qijue to take residence, she could have lived peacefully and securely in this apocalypse. Unfortunately, she was filled with desires but lacked the strength to support them. If she didn't meet this end today, she would meet it eventually. Bang! Casually tossing the deceased Mu Qingsu aside, his gaze fell upon Chu Baixuan. And he smiled wickedly. Chu Baixuan, your daughter's betrayal has put me in a very passive situation. Brother Gu, I have already severed my father-daughter relationship with her. Everything is unrelated to me. Please show mercy. From now on, I, Chu Baixuan, am willing to follow your lead. Chu Baixuan's face was pale, and he quickly spoke up to distance himself. Actually, you should have died long ago. It's just that I was too lenient. Gu Qijue snorted coldly, stepped forward, and slapped him unconscious. He had said he would slaughter her entire family in front of Chu Mengxi, and he would not go back on his word. I, Zhu Hongyu, am willing to follow Boss Gu's lead from this day forward. Seeing this, Zhu Hongyu quickly stepped forward to express her stance. I also advised Mu Qingsu to invite Boss Gu to take charge, but she was afraid you would seize control from her. What a ridiculous woman. She wasn't lying, she had genuinely said this to Mu Qingsu. Unfortunately, Mu Qingsu, whose mind was clouded by power, did not listen. I, Su Qing, am also willing to serve Boss Gu. The man, Su Qing, also stepped forward to express his stance. Since you are willing to serve me, why did you try to run? Gu Qijue looked at the two with a half-smile. Shouldn't you have suppressed Mu Qingsu and presented her to me? Hearing these words, Su Qing and Zhu Hongyu broke out in cold sweat, felt chilled all over, and opened their mouths to speak but didn't know what to say. 29. Deceit, you did a great job. Zhu Hongyu spoke up at this moment. Boss Gu, Capital City has dispatched 4 more innate ancient martial artists to deal with you. They are already at Qingyan High School, ready to target your brothers. If you rush back now, you might still make it. Su Qing also said, yes. Yes, when we came out to escape, those 4 innate peak ancient martial artists were already outside Qingyan High School. You need to hurry back. Upon hearing this, Gu Qijue's eyes flashed with ferocity. These so-called ancient martial artists are truly endless in seeking death. Zhu Hongyu whispered, Boss Gu, hurry, we will reorganize this shelter for you when you return. All super martial artists in the shelter will follow your lead. Cute Treasure also said, Big Brother Black Dragon, there's no time to lose. With me and Ape Emperor here, there won't be any problems. It's almost dawn. Gather all the second and third tier super martial artists here and meet at the city center. This time, we will occupy a mutated tree by ourselves. Gu Qijue gave his instructions, then left at the fastest speed. He wanted to see if anyone would betray him under the pressure of death. This could also be considered a test of their loyalty. Occupy a mutated tree alone? Zhu Hongyu was greatly shocked upon hearing this. Can we really do it? Since Big Brother Black Dragon said we can, then there's definitely no problem. Cute Treasure had a blind faith in Gu Qijue and said, First, gather Chu Mengxi's family and wait for Big Brother Black Dragon to return and deal with them. Then, clear out all of Mu Qingsu's old faction, and finally, gather all the super martial artists to prepare to depart for the city center. Next, this shelter underwent a major purge. It was already 5:30 a.m., and it would be dawn in less than half an hour. Qingyan High School, boom, bang, hiss in the darkness. The 4 innate peak ancient martial artists from Capital City were clashing with 8 golden weird transformation creatures. Although the weird transformation creatures were no match, their speed was incredibly abnormal, allowing them to temporarily dodge the frequent killing moves of the 4 innate peak ancient martial artists. But if this continued, as their stamina and strength diminished, they might not even be able to escape. Entity. If this continues, we might all bleed out here. Are you sure it's worth it? A golden weird transformation creature narrowly dodged an extremely terrifying sword strike from the woman in her early 30s. Speaking with some trepidation, they were all brought by Entity, preparing to pledge allegiance to Gu Qijue. This was because Gu Qijue had become a taboo and a synonym for terror in the weird transformation creature community. Although they were solitary, if they encountered a great threat, they would also join forces to seek self-preservation. Just hold on a little longer. It's almost dawn, and Master should be back soon. When he returns, these human powerhouses will all become our food. Haha, Entity let out a long howl. Black lightning flickered beneath its golden skin. Among these 8 weird transformation creatures, it was the strongest, because it was surprised to find that although the lightning orb in its mind could kill it, it could also use the lightning power of the orb. It was fighting the old man with the saber. Although the old man was fierce, he lacked speed. In front of Entity, who was empowered by lightning, the saber-wielding old man couldn't even touch it a single bit. The other 7 weird transformation creatures were fighting the woman in her early 30s, the young woman, and the middle-aged man, respectively. They had room to maneuver for now, but in the long run, they were bound to die. Why are they coming to save us? Tang Huang was dumbfounded, watching the 8 weird transformation creatures in the darkness, taking such a great risk to fight the 4 peak ancient martial artists. It might be Boss who sent them, or it might be that Entity who brought them. Let's run first. They definitely can't defeat those 4. We can't be a burden to them. Jai Shang was very clear-headed, urging everyone to attach their super martial armor and escape the area at the fastest speed. It's truly laughable. Humans want to kill us, but monsters saved us, Zhao Hu said with a self-deprecating laugh. 4 seniors. They're running. Kill these fanatics first? Yes, these anti-human fanatics should all die. The survivors present had completely lost any moral bottom line. The 4 ancient martial artists, however, ignored their barking. In their eyes, these evil creatures were the ones who deserved to die the most. Here, quickly, outside the school gate, White Fox was waiting. Sister White Fox, where's Boss? Seeing this, everyone flashed over. I don't know where Boss is either. You guys contact him on your phones, White Fox said anxiously. Entity and the others can't hold on for much longer. Our phones were all destroyed by the true chi of those 4 ancient martial artists, Jai Shang said through gritted teeth. White Fox shook her head and said, Then let's go first and wait for Boss at the underground boxing arena. Good. Everyone nodded and left at the fastest speed. Entity. They're gone. What about us? My speed has decreased during high-intensity teleportation. If we don't run now, we won't be able to escape. A weird transformation creature, bleeding profusely from a sword chi wound on its back, said fearfully at this moment. Separate retreat. Entity didn't linger in battle, roaring and fleeing directly. The other weird transformation creatures, seeing this, teleported and fled in different directions. This was their innate divine ability, teleportation, but it consumed a lot of energy. If you had chosen to run at the beginning, you would have had a chance to live. Now, it's too late, the ancient martial elder roared, his speed instantly increasing several times. A saber strike, radiating true chi like a blazing sun, illuminated dozens of meters around and fiercely cleaved towards Entity. This was the Elder's famous ultimate skill, Great Sun Slash. Entity was greatly alarmed, feeling an intense threat of death. It roared and fully activated the lightning orb in its mind, transforming it into a shield of black lightning to block. Boom, clang, although it managed to block, Entity was also blasted back, spitting blood and rolled on the ground, twitching. Ah, screams from weird transformation creatures also echoed from the other directions. Damn it, Entity. We shouldn't have listened to you. The three weird transformation creatures targeted by the ancient martial middle-aged man, ancient martial woman, and ancient martial young woman were all struck down and lay dying. Rumble, crack, just as the Elder and the others raised their weapons to finish off Entity and the other four weird transformation creatures. Outside the school gate, a violent black lightning bathed in a sliver of dawn light swept in. A terrifying aura of destruction pressed down on the four ancient martial artists. Entity, you did very well. Gu Qijue arrived, stepping on lightning, with twin dragons coiling behind him. His cold, violent dragon eyes shot out boundless killing intent. The Elder, the middle-aged man, the woman in her early 30s, and the young woman all felt a chill in their hearts at this moment, looking up as if facing a formidable enemy. 2 more chapters later, please give me recommendation tickets, monthly tickets, thank you, 30, torture 550 in the morning. Gu Qijue with white hair and blood-red eyes arrived amidst a ray of morning light, treading on black lightning. Behind him, twin dragons glowed eerily, shooting out endless killing intent, staring intently at the four ancient martial artists. After Gu Qijue advanced to the 6th stage, he could use the lightning within his body to fly, though only about 100 meters high. However, that was already terrifying. Ancient martial artists at the early stage of the Grandmaster level could only achieve his current level. Boss, Jai Shang and the others, who had just escaped some distance, stopped in pleasant surprise when they saw the terrifying sea of lightning at the school gate, then turned back, full of joy. Haha, Master, you've come just in time. The Entity also laughed, his hoarse voice filled with evil and gloom. The other 3 weird transformation creatures, who had been trampled underfoot and were originally despairing and waiting for death, now breathed a sigh of relief, gazing in shock at the terrifying presence approaching on lightning from afar. The 4 weird transformation creatures that had already escaped now all turned back, knowing that this taboo-like existence had returned. Their so-called life-and-death crisis was resolved. The ancient martial artist Elder, the mature woman, the middle-aged man, and the young woman all faced him as if facing a great enemy, their gazes fixed on Gu Qijue, who approached treading on lightning like a black dragon emperor. With each step Gu Qijue took in the air, lightning surged beneath his feet. On his bare upper body, black dragon patterns flickered faintly, and the black dragon tattoo on his chest was as intimidating as a living creature. Facing his step-by-step oppression, the Elder and the other 4 innate peak ancient martial artists felt their breathing become difficult, as if the air itself was solidified by lightning. They knew that the enemy they encountered this time was extraordinary, and they might very well perish here today. Are you Gu Qijue? We have come by order of CEO Chu of Capital City to invite you to Capital City. The leading Elder narrowed his eyes slightly and cupped his fists towards Gu Qijue, who was looking down on them from above. After witnessing this person's terror, how could they dare to harbor any arrogance? Your so-called invitation. Why did you lay hands on my brothers and sisters? Is this how your Diyuan group of Capital City invites people? Lightning flashed in Gu Qijue's blood-red eyes and white hair, his intimidating gaze looking at the 4 as if they were 4 corpses. These words left them speechless. The mature woman spoke. We gave them a chance, but they were stubborn, so we could only use some coercive methods. Ding-dong-dong, at this moment, the phone in the Elder's pocket rang. He took it out to see, and it displayed a call from Diyuan Group. He answered on speakerphone. Chu Yuan's voice, full of an air of authority, came through. Gu Qijue, my name is Chu Yuan, the current CEO of Diyuan Group. I am watching you now. I sincerely hope you will return to Capital City with them. I guarantee your life will not be in danger. Hearing this, Gu Qijue couldn't help but smile. A very evil smile. You're used to being high and mighty, aren't you? I've never provoked you, yet you've repeatedly tried to kill me. Even a clay figure has a temper, so please, all of you go to hell. With that, Gu Qijue raised a finger and slashed it across the void realm in front of him. The void realm in front of him seemed to be torn by the terrifying lightning from his fingertip, revealing a BL, a CK Chinese letter. Immediately after, the body of the innate peak Elder was also cut in half at the waist. Ah, A tragic scream came from the elder's mouth. His two halves, severed at the waist, fell into a pool of blood, his internal organs scattered everywhere. After a few more screams, he completely died. This was the divine ability Gu Qijue learned after advancing to the 6th stage, Lightning Slash. Run! Seeing this, the mature woman, the young woman, and the middle-aged man gasped, then turned and ran without a word. The strongest among them, the elder, had been so instantly killed. This chilled them to the bone, making their scalps tingle with terror, although they didn't know if they could escape. Staying meant certain death. Whoosh, 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 Gu Qijue's expression was cold. With a flick of his finger, he slashed out 3 lightning cracks in the void realm. Immediately. The 3 who had just fled a few hundred meters were all cut in half at the waist by a lightning blade from the void realm. Along with spurting blood, their 2 halves fell to the ground with thuds, and after a few screams, they ceased to breathe. "You beast, you've successfully angered me." The elder's blood-stained phone, which had fallen to the ground, was still working, and Chu Yuan's cold roar of fury came from it. "If you want to kill me, or capture me for research, I, Gu, welcome you anytime." Gu Qijue snorted coldly and shattered the phone with a flick of his finger. "Boss Gu is mighty. Those 4 damned ancient martial artists forced us to go with them. They were truly despicable. Right, they deserve to be torn to shreds, if not for their coercion. We would never have sided with them. Boss Gu is invincible. Only by following you can we live well." The more than 50 survivors present, who were quick to adapt, all came forward, shouting and cheering like weathercocks. "Hee. You didn't say that before, boss. Kill them." Jai Shang and the others returned at this moment, their eyes filled with killing intent as they stared at these weathercocks. "Entity. These people are for you to eat, then quickly head to the mutated tree in the city center." Gu Qijue glanced indifferently at the weathercocks, left this instruction, and then led everyone to the city center. Today, he wanted to claim that mutated tree for himself. The pressure from the ancient martial artists was a bit too great. If several grandmasters had come today, it would have been a bloodbath. "Hey, thank you, master, for your grace." "Brothers, let's eat." "Hey, what are you doing?" "No, don't. Help, someone save us." No sooner had Gu Qijue and the others left than the bloodthirsty, grotesque laughter of 8 weird transformation creatures and the tragic screams of the weathercocks echoed continuously throughout the school. "Damn it!" At Diyuan Group in Capital City, Chu Yuan and the others watched the bloody scene on the projection screen, their faces extremely grim. Let him live one more day. Now that dawn has broken, the mutated tree is about to grow. Tonight, I will go personally and capture that beast alive. The mature, beautiful woman from Longyan Mountain said in a deep voice. He should currently be able to at most contend with ordinary grandmasters. Even if he takes a mutated fruit to further increase his strength, he definitely cannot surpass me. If that's the case, then let him live one more day. The mutated tree in Capital City has emerged. You all gather all the super martial artists to contend for one, and I will lead 300 ancient martial artists to contend for another. Chu Yuan stood up and gave the order, then quickly left the war room with 4 others. No one knew that the mutated tree growing this time was different from yesterday's. Truly terrifying weird transformation creatures were about to appear. 31. Unusual malformed tree, it's over? Inside Cloud City Shelter, when Chu Mengxi saw that Gu Qijue was still unbeatable, and she also heard that Mu Qingsu's shelter had already been taken by Gu Qijue. At this moment, she was slumped on the sofa, her eyes lifeless. Why did I betray him? Why wasn't I more resolute? He had already spared me and my family once. Why did I seek death again? Chu Mengxi's face was ashen, filled with regret. She truly hadn't expected that taking this step would lead her to an abyss. "Mom, Dad, little sister, I'm sorry. I've harmed you all?" Chu Mengxi cried in agony. She truly hadn't expected such a result. Not only was she wavering. Within Cloud City Shelter, many super martial artists, after seeing Gu Qijue's power through the Empire's public broadcast, also wavered and wanted to follow Gu Qijue. Although Chu Yuan was powerful, he wasn't by their side. Now, all the super martial artists in Cloud City Shelter were watching the mutated tree gradually emerging in the city center via satellite live broadcast. This kind of broadcast, for fear of causing panic, was only open to super martial artists. Survivors had no right to watch. Today's mutated tree was different from yesterday's. Its trunk, branches, and fan-sized leaves were all grayish-green. It rumbled out from underground, growing to 100 meters in just a few minutes, and was still growing wildly. Its roots covered an unknown number of miles of land. A strange fragrance slowly wafted out. Mutated creatures that smelled this fragrance frantically surged towards the mutated tree. Yun River is only about 50 kilometers from the city center. When that fragrant scent swept into this calm river and sea, Rumble, the originally calm Yun River, instantly boiled, with roars and bangs. Groups of enormous monsters leaped out of the water. Then, a dense mass surged towards the land. Crack! An electric eel over 10 zhang long, covered in rampant lightning, broke out of the water, then transformed into a half-human form, stepped onto land, and quickly headed towards the source of the fragrance. Today, only one mutated tree emerged in the entire Cloud City. That was the one in the city center. It grew incredibly fast, reaching 500 meters in just a few minutes, its branches wildly spreading. Yet, even after growing into such a colossal being, it still hadn't stopped growing. The rumbling sound on the ground was incessant, and mutated creatures from all directions, drooling, gathered here in unknown numbers. The fragrance spread incredibly fast, already covering a 50-kilometer radius, and was still spreading at an incredibly terrifying speed. From a bird's-eye view, all the monsters in Cloud City, as long as they smelled the fragrance, were converging towards the giant tree that was still growing. The city center was like a vortex attracting monsters. Wherever the fragrance reached, no mutated creature could resist it. Swarms of rats, ants, insects covering the sky and earth. By the Yun River, a transformed old tortoise used its tortoise shell to divine a hexagram. My goodness, there's great danger ahead, retreat. After divining a hexagram, its expression changed. And with a splash, it went into the water and swam away. While an endless stream of mutated monsters headed towards the mutated tree, it went in the opposite direction, fleeing. At dawn on this day, not only Cloud City, but almost all cities in the Qianlong Empire presented such terrifying scenes. In contrast, other empires on the Star Blue Continent did not experience such riots, and the mutated trees that grew were normal, without the sensation seen in the Qianlong Empire. Heavens, what's happening? On the rooftop of a skyscraper 5 kilometers from where the mutated tree was growing in the city center, Gu Qijue stood there with 368 super martial artists. Observing, everyone looked at the dense swarms of mutated birds and insects flying in the sky, and the swarms of rats and ants running on the ground. Feeling their scalps tingle, all kinds of roars echoed through this heaven and earth. Skyscrapers and buildings were also covered with various mutated monsters. As far as the eye could see, there were only monsters. If Gu Qijue weren't here, their building would also be covered with mutated monsters. Hiss, that mutated tree is about to reach 1,000 meters. And it hasn't stopped yet. What on earth is going on? Terrifying, how many mutated fruit could this grow? Everyone's eyes showed horror, and they repeatedly gasped in cold air. Gu Qijue frowned slightly. In his previous life, he didn't remember this situation happening. Although he was at the bottom in his previous life, treated like an animal, but if there were such a big commotion, he would surely have known. Yet, what was happening now? The grayish-green mutated tree growing in this life actually gave him a feeling of trepidation. Among the endless monster hordes, there were also many heterogeneous species, evil species, and ordinary calamity-level bird emperors and insect emperors. 1 kilometer outside the entire mutated tree, various flying monsters circled in the sky, and boundless land monsters gathered on the ground, stretching for an unknown number of kilometers, with no end in sight. Even the weird transformation creature, who usually liked to hide in the dark, appeared in large numbers. Drooling at the mutated tree, this fragrance is too alluring for us. The entity and the other 8 weird transformation creature behind Gu Qijue also found it difficult to resist the temptation of this fragrance. What kind of fruit can such a towering giant tree bear? Bai, who also couldn't help but feel a fatal attraction to this fragrance. Gu Qijue, however, remained silent. His intuition told him the mutated tree that grew today was suspicious and very unusual, giving him a sense of great threat. But he couldn't just leave. That mutated tree had already grown to 1,500 meters, almost reaching the lowest cloud layer. Its branches covered 2 to 3 li of land. Soon after, a huge number of marine creatures, millions strong, surged in, roar, to contend for a front position. Large-scale slaughter began among the mutated creature groups. Roars shook the heavens, and the blood of torn-apart mutated creatures was visibly absorbed into the earth. As more and more mutated creatures fell in pools of blood, the growth rate of that mutated tree also increased significantly. Gu Qijue noticed this phenomenon, his eyes narrowed slightly, and he said, "Listen up, everyone. Once this tree bears fruit, we'll grab the fruit and leave immediately. No matter what happens, do not look back." "Yes." Seeing his solemn expression, everyone nodded seriously. Sensing that something big might happen, the fragrance in the air grew stronger and spread even faster. Goodness me, this fragrance, I can barely resist it, but the more it attracts me, the greater the danger ahead. In the river, the old tortoise, which was moving away, even drooled, but it still suppressed the temptation, moving away at an even faster speed. Afraid it wouldn't be able to resist and would lose its mind and return. 4 chapters delivered today. Please give recommended votes and monthly votes. Immensely grateful. 32. Are you trying to join Gu Qijue's side? Chapter 32. Do you want to defect to Gu Qijue? The unusual behavior of the mutated tree today made Gu Qijue feel a sense of unease. This development completely deviated from the trajectory of his previous life. What exactly is going on? Is it because he killed Mutation, or for some other reason? Gu Qijue looked at the mutated tree, which was about to grow to a kilometer in height, covering several miles. An eerie fragrance permeated the entire Cloud City. It drifted to the Yun River, causing countless aquatic monsters to crawl ashore and surge towards the still-growing mutated tree, viewing it from a god's perspective. At this moment, the mutated tree was like a vortex devouring everything, attracting tens of millions of mutated creatures from Cloud City. However, within the area covered by the mutated tree, no mutated creatures dared to approach for the time being. They were all fighting outside, vying for a closer position. Millions of aquatic monsters from under the Yun River also came in a mighty torrent. If dozens of nuclear bombs were dropped here at this moment, at least 80 to 90% of Cloud City's monsters could be eliminated. But from then on, this place would also become a dead zone. Of the more than 800,000 survivors in Cloud City's shelter, perhaps only a few would ultimately survive. When this mutated tree grew to 25 meters, towering into the clouds, it gradually stopped growing. Then, one by one, star fruits began to grow from its branches, shimmering with starlight. At this moment, the mutated fruit tree seemed to have transformed into a star tree, with each fruit like a star, creating a magnificent and spectacular sight. The number of star fruits was simply too many. By estimation, there were at least several 100,000. Oh, roar, roar, roar as countless star fruits formed. The eerie fragrance permeating the air grew thicker and spread faster, stimulating an unknown number of monsters present to roar skyward. Damn it, these star fruits must have an excellent effect on super martial artists. Although it's very dangerous, I still want to go pick them. Damn it. Who can lead us to pick them? Look, isn't that Boss Gu? I'm so envious of the super martial artists behind him. Speechless. I want to go too. The super martial artists in Cloud City Shelter watched through the live broadcast projection as hundreds of thousands of star fruits grew on the star tree. They wanted to go but had no high-level combat power to lead them. This made them feel extremely frustrated. Such fruits, if consumed, would likely yield immense benefits. All super martial artists in Cloud City, if you also want to come and pick them, if you want to follow me, then bring your sacks and come. Gu Qijue knew that Cloud City was definitely live streaming this to their internal super martial artists. Looking at the towering giant tree with hundreds of thousands of star fruits, he spoke directly. His intuition told him that after the fruits of this tree matured and were picked, terrifying changes might occur later. If he could use this opportunity to raise the strength of all super martial artists in Cloud City by several levels, they might not be so passive. Although Gu Qijue had some darkness in his heart, he never thought of being an enemy to humanity. Damn it. What is he doing? Lin Zhengxiao's face changed drastically when he saw this scene. If all super martial artists ran to Gu Qijue's side, who would protect the more than 800,000 survivors here? The senior military officers present said nothing. To be honest, they also wanted Gu Qijue to be stationed here. Everything was Lin Zhengxiao's fault. Otherwise, how could he have become an enemy of Gu Qijue? Deputy General Yi Zhangguo's eyes flickered, then he suddenly erupted, grabbed the kettle on the table, and with a bang, fiercely smashed it over Lin Zhengxiao's head from behind, knocking him unconscious. Deputy General Yu, everyone was startled by the sight. Everyone, I presume you all know why I did this. Right? Yi Zhangguo looked at the people present and spoke meaningfully. You want to defect to Gu Qijue? None of them were fools. How could they not know what he intended? Exactly, as you've seen. He is incredibly protective of his own people, and you've witnessed how loyal his subordinates are to him, which shows he treats his own people very well. Yi Zhangguo let out a light breath and continued. The Diyuan group might not be reliable. This time I stand with Gu Qijue. If we want to survive, we can only attach ourselves to a powerful existence. I agree. Minister of Satellite Department Lin Manjia was the first to raise her hand. This is indeed a good choice. Li Yue, Minister of Information Department, also nodded and raised his hand. The Diyuan group is indeed unreliable and didn't even send a Grandmaster-level expert to guard us here. Since that's the case, let Gu Qijue take charge, the Minister of Armaments said with a cold laugh, raising his hand. As they one by one expressed their stance, several ministers from the Bombardment Department, Resource Department, and Collection Department, among others, none refused and all raised their hands in agreement. Everyone reached a consensus. The unconscious Lin Zhengxiao was tied up and taken away at Yi Zhangguo's command. Then, a broadcast began throughout the entire shelter. To all super martial artists in the shelter, after a unanimous decision by our high-level officials, starting today, this shelter will be led by Gu Qijue. After the mutated fruit tree event concludes, we will invite him to take charge. All of you may respond to Mr. Gu's call and go with him to pick the star fruits. As soon as this broadcast was made, it immediately ignited the more than 2,000 restless super martial artists within the shelter. Good, this is great, it should be this way. Brothers, let's go support Boss Gu. Yes, let's go. Let's go, haha, with Boss Gu leading us, we're taking off. At this moment inside the shelter, super martial artists, in groups of 2 or 3, donned their super martial armor and marched mightily towards the main gate. General Yi, since we've chosen to align with Gu Qijue, why not broadcast this nationwide or even worldwide? In the combat hall, Minister of Satellite Department Lin Manjiao said with a smile, "Let the survivors across the nation and the world see the might of our boss Gu. Are you sure you want to do this?" Yi Zhangguo sought the opinions of the other ministers. "Start the broadcast. Our Cloud City has now broken away from the Diyuan group. It's time to let the survivors nationwide see that our Cloud City also has an incredibly powerful existence." Exactly. Since the Diyuan group doesn't value our Cloud City, we should use Boss Gu to awe them. Not long ago, they received news that the Diyuan group had dispatched many Grandmaster martial artists to other cities to take charge. However, their Cloud City was neglected, with only innate martial artists sent. How could they keep the super martial artists here in check? Seeing that everyone agreed, Yi Zhangguo nodded, "Good. Then start the broadcast, Minister Lin. It's in your hands." "Understood. I will immediately upload the satellite projection footage to Huyin, the Qianlong Empire's largest video platform. And the World United website? 33. Eerie heartbeat. Today is the 3rd day of the apocalypse. Many small countries globally have been annihilated, with only a few super martial artists and a small number of survivors barely clinging to life. However, several major Western countries, such as the Mijiang Empire, Snow Bear Empire, Sunset Empire, and Eagle Empire, have managed to hold on. The East has ancient martial artists and the West has legendary vampires, werewolves, etc., which previously only existed in legends. Over the years, in unknown places, Eastern ancient martial artists and Western vampires, werewolves, and others have secretly fought countless battles. Even the small island nations have true ninjas. Now, there are also super martial artists. The World United Network is a website accessible to all imperial citizens globally, and it is the world's largest internet platform. Minister of Satellite Department immediately opened a live broadcast room on the World United Network's live platform, under the name of Cloud City of the Qianlong Empire. The scene in the live broadcast room was exactly where Gu Qijue and others were in the city center. Qianlong Empire, the largest country in the east. As the live broadcast room opened, some survivors from the empire quickly discovered it and entered to watch. "Oh my god, is this Cloud City of the Qianlong Empire? Heavens, why is it so chaotic? What kind of tree is that? Wow, is that the star tree? Reaching into the clouds, are those star fruits on it? Hiss, so many monsters, all monsters. What happened to the Qianlong Empire?" People who entered the live broadcast room and saw the content were all expressing their shock in their native languages, or directly in the language of the Qianlong Empire. The live broadcast scene was now presented from a god's eye view, thousands of meters high. Looking down, the endless monsters and the towering giant tree reaching into the clouds created an immense visual impact. The Qianlong Empire's platform live broadcast room also saw a large influx of viewers. All sorts of shocking and terrifying bullet comments quickly filled the screen. "Boss, you have a call." At this moment, Zhu Hongyu came to Gu Qijue with a phone and said, "It's a call from the Cloud City higher-ups." Gu Qijue snatched the phone from her hand and said indifferently, "What's the matter, Mr. Gu? All the super martial artists in our shelter are on their way to the city center. Furthermore, our Cloud City shelter wishes for you to take charge." The caller was Deputy General, who briefly informed him about suppressing Lin Zhengxiao, War General, and preparing to follow his lead. "Very good. You've done well. My intuition tells me that a catastrophic disaster may occur today. It is wise to gather all of Cloud City's combat power. Gu Qijue was very satisfied after hearing the decision made by Deputy General and the others. Mr. Gu is right. We cannot joke with the lives of Cloud City's 800,000 survivors. Lin Zhangxiao, War General, has been suppressed by us, awaiting your return to deal with him. If I can return alive, then we'll talk, Gu Qijue said. Then hung up the call. The mutated tree's star fruits were growing more numerous, and their fragrance was becoming increasingly rich, attracting all the monsters in Cloud City towards it. Gu Qijue saw no fewer than 300 weird transformation creatures. There were also no fewer than 300 or 400 ordinary calamity-level creatures. Even more terrifying were the monsters from the ocean. From a god's eye view thousands of meters high, it was impossible to see how many miles the monsters covering the ground stretched. The flying monsters, a dense black mass, obscured the morning light. As time passed, the star fruits produced by the star tree grew more and more, already approaching 1,000,000. Each branch was laden with sparkling, crystal-clear grayish-green fruits. After about half an hour, over 2,000 super martial artists from Cloud City Shelter finally arrived. Leading them were 3 Saint-tier super martial artists, 2 men and 1 woman, who stepped forward and said to Gu Qijue, "Senior Gu, all 2365 second to 3rd tier super martial artists from Cloud City are present. Please give your instructions." "I have only one instruction. Once the fruits on that tree mature, fill your sacks and leave immediately. Do not be greedy, ensure you can return alive." Gu Qijue was ruthless towards enemies but very protective of his own people. Since these people had decided to follow him, he would do his best to ensure their safety. Yes, upon hearing this, everyone nodded heavily. They also knew that competing for star fruits amidst this ocean of mutated monsters carried a very high probability of death. However, they still came. If they didn't fight now, they might not even have the chance to fight later. Behind Gu Qijue, over 3,000 super martial artists were all covered in super martial armor, with sacks on their backs, ready for battle. As time passed, the monsters gathered in this area fought more and more fiercely. "Did you hear that?" Gu Qijue's gaze suddenly sharpened. He actually heard sounds like heartbeats emanating from within that mutated tree. "Hear what?" Upon hearing him, everyone shook their heads in surprise. Seeing that they hadn't heard anything, Gu Qijue said no more, his vigilance increasing. "Let's go first." A moment later, seeing that the 1,000,000 star fruits on the tree were about to ripen, Gu Qijue immediately entered his strongest state. 2 dragon horns grew on his head, dragon scales appeared on his skin, a strong dragon tail grew from his coccyx, and his dragon fangs slowly extended from his mouth. With a boom, he unleashed his internal chi field pressure without reservation, charging out with lightning speed. A dragon spear, shimmering with violent lightning, appeared in his hand like a long spear, and he blazed a path forward like a human Tyrannosaurus Rex stepping on lightning. Pachai! As the dragon's spear in his hand swept across, thousands of lightning spear tips tore through the air, instantly clearing all mutated creatures blocking the path ahead. The monsters hit by the sweep were mangled and shattered, as vulnerable as tofu. Charge! White Fox, Jiashang, Zhu Hongyu, Suqing, Zhaohu, Cute Treasure. Ape Emperor and others, seeing this, all brought out their weapons and followed closely behind Gu Qijue. Awuo, Wuawu, boom! Crack! Any mutated creatures blocking the way were instantly pulverized as Gu Qijue, flashing with lightning all over, charged forward, his spear tips passing through them. He just kept killing forward, carving out a path paved with flesh and blood. Che! Gu Qijue raised his hand and sliced at the void realm in front of him, and hundreds of mutated creatures were instantly cut into several pieces. A sweep of the dragon's spear in his hand directly cleared a vacuum in front. He was like a meat grinder, guarded by tens of thousands of lightning bolts around him, leading the over 3,000 super martial artists behind him to cut through 1,000,000 mutated creatures and enter the range covered by the mutated tree's branches. Whoosh, 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 however, just as Gu Qijue and the others stepped into the range covered by its branches, and as the tree full of star fruits ripened, emitting an unparalleled fruity fragrance, innumerable sharp branches, as thick as an adult's arm, suddenly pierced out from within the massive mutated tree's trunk. There were over 100,000 of them, sweeping and piercing out in an instant, directly targeting Gu Qijue and the others. 34. Star-absorbing tree, get on the tree? Gu Qijue, who was already prepared, let out a long cry. The twin dragons crackling with thunder behind him burst forth, sweeping across in an instant, crushing all the branch tentacles that blocked their ascent, and then carrying everyone to climb this truly towering giant tree at the fastest speed. Gu Qijue guessed that after climbing onto the star giant tree, they might not be attacked. Facing so many star fruit, they had to take a gamble. His intuition told him these fruits might be the key to saving their lives. Sure enough, after he led everyone onto the tree, the branches indeed stopped attacking them. Awu, roar, roar, roar. Roar before anyone could react. Just as Gu Qijue and the others ascended the star tree, the endless monsters gathered outside roared towards the sky, sweeping toward the star tree like a torrent of steel with a rumbling sound. However, the hundreds of thousands of sharp branches emerging from the tree body danced like a horde of demons, piercing, strangling, and sweeping. Any monster injured by the branches instantly turned into a dried corpse. But even facing the attack of the star tree, the endless mutated creatures, who had long lost their minds, still rushed forward with bloodshot eyes, continuously being strangled and killed. Whoosh! Whoosh, facing the strangling branches, weird transformation creature, evil seed-level creatures, and calamity-level creatures were easily able to break through, ascend the star tree, pull out sacks, and pick the fruits at the fastest speed. Thump, 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 as batch after batch of mutated creatures were sucked dry into corpses. The sound of the heartbeat emanating from inside the star tree was no longer audible only to Gu Qijue. Mutated creatures below the evil seed level had all lost their minds under the stimulation of the overwhelming fruit fragrance, rushing towards the star tree like a tide, only to be strangled and sucked dry. Corpses quickly piled up like mountains. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters. 10 meters, the dried corpses piled up outside the star tree could only be described as terrifying. Those who could break through were basically evil seed level, calamity level, and weird transformation creature. Pick quickly, this tree is very strange, don't put the fruits in sacks, throw them all towards me. After Gu Qijue ascended the tree, he rushed straight towards the branch with the largest number of fruits, then activated the space between eyebrows to frantically collect them. Upon hearing this, everyone dropped the sacks in their hands without hesitation and, following Gu Qijue's instructions, threw the picked fruits forcefully towards his location. Thus, this scene unfolded. All fruits that approached Gu Qijue mysteriously vanished. The weird transformation creature, evil seed, and calamity-level creatures who were also picking watched dumbfounded. Their sacks were already full, but they only held less than 100 fruits. Black Dragon Emperor, do you want to cooperate? Black Dragon Emperor. You must have also noticed that this tree is very strange and is likely to become our greatest threat. How about a cooperation? Black Dragon Emperor. I am willing to follow you. This tree gives me a feeling of great terror. They also sensed the strangeness of the tree beneath their feet. Ever since they climbed up, they felt an extremely evil eye staring at them like prey. Seeing that Gu Qijue could infinitely collect star fruit truly tempted them. At this moment, the scene in the center of Cloud City, resembling an Usura field, was being broadcast live nationwide and worldwide. Oh my god, are those monsters like a tide? Really not afraid of death? Hiss, they rush up in waves and are harvested in waves. Is that tree helping us humans clear the monsters on the star blue continent? What a terrifying tree. Oh my heavens. That dragon person on the